Very good afternoon, all of you. We'll be beginning in about 5 minutes as per the scheduled time, that is 12:15. It's 12:10 right now. So until then, I would just request you all, whoever is comfortable, to please switch on their video so that it's easier to have a face-to-face conversation as well. So if it's possible, I would request you to please switch on your videos, and we'll be beginning in about 4 minutes.
That happened.
Good afternoon, all of you. So it's 12:15. So we're beginning our meeting now. I welcome you all to this meeting, and I hope that all the team representatives, coordinators are here, so that we can just start having the conversation about where your team stands. What is it that you've planned for the next few days, few weeks? I know some of you have already sent in your details with regards to when you wish to conduct a dialogue. Some have already sent their tentative dates, and there are teams who have unfortunately not been able to even have their first team meeting. So that's completely all right. We can discuss all these challenges that you might also be facing within your teams. Because what happens is that when we have such a huge team, and then when we have multiple groupings, so it's always difficult to manage. But I think that this also presents an opportunity for all of you, especially the ones who are coordinating things in their group, to learn as to how to manage these teams. As in, when you move forward in your professional journeys, professional careers, now these skills that you learn as to how to manage teams and how to manage big teams, will if you learn these skills right now, I think that they'll be very, very instrumental. I can share some personal anecdotes with regards to how I have uh, some of you who've been part of previous programs and we've had this interaction. I've told you about how I personally used to manage huge teams. So the biggest team I've managed was about 700 people, and I was the only coordinator that had to do that. So we created that. We created a model. We created a formula as to how we can manage the teams in the way that each and every individual feels that they have an equal stake in the team. So I think that as team representatives, coordinators, leaders, it's a golden opportunity for you, all of you, to learn as to how to manage teams. And for people who are not able to take responsibility because of various reasons, even they can just, uh, I mean, since we understand that all of you also have your existing academic commitments, some of you already have your professional working commitments as well. Since it's a very diverse kind of a group, diverse kind of a team, so what we can do is that so each team, I personally feel that should have at least 3 to 4 coordinators, depending on the number of people that you have in your team, and it does not necessarily mean that it has to be the same person or same group of people for all throughout. So probably after, say, 2 or 3 weeks, if you wish to change the coordinators, you can do so. So it's not that you have to keep the same coordinators for the next couple of months, for example. So you can keep on shifting so that everyone gets an opportunity to lead. But the reason why we are not telling that who is supposed to lead or who is not supposed to lead is because uh, I think this is something which I had shared right in the first meeting as well, and I've been reiterating this quite often, that we want to create a model where you can self-govern yourself. So it has to be a decentralized kind of a model where teams are self-regulating, where teams are self-governing. Uh, a father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, used to give an ideal of self-governing village republics. Now, village republics would consist of thousands of people. Each village republic would consist of thousands of people. We are still smaller groups. And if we wish to internalize that ideal of, say, governing ourselves, even in the real world, in the sense that when we talk of governance of the country, so I think that this can be a great experiment as to uh, how we can implement a few models, how we can come up with some formulas as to how to manage teams, and each of us can learn from each other. Because today, since we'll be having an interaction with the coordinators of various groups, so if there is a best practice that you've adopted within your own team, you can share it with others so that others can also learn from that particular experience, and they can also uh, just hold on a second. I think okay, yeah. So this just an announcement. This particular meeting is also being streamed live on YouTube. The Facebook Live client is not working because of I do not know what exactly this is the reason, but it's not working. So the live is streaming on YouTube instead of Facebook. Yeah. Yeah, so I was saying that since we have coordinators from all teams, so it'll be great if you could also share some best practices, and can also share some challenges. Now I can tell you that what kind of challenges some of you might be facing. So one challenge that a lot of you might be facing as team members or team representatives would be that there is always a handful of you who are very active, and there is always this. So when if you have a team of say 20 people, there might be only 5 to 6, 7 people who are very active. Then there's a second category of people who are here and there, who are just in the middle. They come for meetings, but their contribution is not that up to that level of expectation of the team coordinators or representatives. And there's a third category of people who are there in the group, but they do not attend meetings or they do not take parts in discussions. So these I think these are universal. It's kind of it's very universal. Whenever you have teams, these are common challenges that people face while managing teams. So it's not something very out of the blue. So these are challenges which every team faces, and I'm sure that whenever you were in colleges, for those who are already in colleges and for those who have already graduated, I'm sure when you had worked in team projects, team groups, these are challenges that you might have faced during that phase as well. So it's nothing new. And when you just upscale it to a level where we are, where you have like huge groups in college, you might just have like 4 to 5 people, 6 people. But now you have, say, a team of 150 people as well. There's a team, there's a research team of say 200 people. And then you have particular teams where you have 100 plus people, and then you also have teams where you just have 10 people, 10 odd people. So it's a it's a very diverse group, and there would be challenges in managing teams as well. But all of this should not discourage us. All of this should not demotivate us, because at the end of the day, you cannot force any individual to do or not to do something. All of us have joined here for a particular cause, and all of us have joined and taken up this responsibility voluntarily. No one forced us to do this. No one asked us to do this, and that'll be the same for the time to come as well. But I would request you, for the ones who have been inactive for the past few days or weeks, to just honestly tell the team if you're not being able to contribute. What we can do is that we can have a conversation just to see as to how we can remove those obstacles for you individually. And even then, if they are not being able to remove, so I would suggest that you can give this opportunity to be part of the team to someone else, and you can excuse yourself from the team, so that the whole working culture within the team doesn't suffer. So I think that that'll be I mean, you can be very honest with yourself, and you can be also very honest with the team, and no one would say anything to you. As I said, that this is something that all of us joined and took it up voluntarily, so there's no force. So it's up to you. So if you wish to be an active member, you're more than welcome. If you have some time constraints, please discuss it with your team, that these are my commitments beyond this project, and I would be only be able to devote this much time, or I will be only be able to devote these many days in a week to this particular project. So that's completely okay, and we completely understand that. But at the other hand, if you feel that this is very overwhelming, and there's a lot of work, and you're not being able to do justice to that, it's not about you being not capable enough to do or be part of the team, because you are in the team because you're capable enough and you have the requisite skills and talents to be part of the team. But it just so happens that at this point of time you're not being able to devote that amount of time. That's completely okay. So you can excuse yourself from the team, and we already have a pool of huge number of people who wish to be part of the teams. I'm sure that all of you have already reached out to me personally, or to the communication cell, or to the centralized email ID, of how some of your colleagues wish to be part of the team, how some of your friends wish to be part of the team, but unfortunately they haven't been included in the team as of now. So there are a lot of people who wish to join the team, and if there are individuals who are unfortunately not being able to devote time at this point of time, I think we can have other people take their place, only if they want, and only if they say that they do not have the bandwidth to give that amount of time. So that's about the teams, and uh, the few challenges that you might have been facing. And do not get bogged down under these challenges, because these are very, very natural, and whenever you lead teams, these just come across very, very naturally. Uh, so there was one feedback that I also got from the communication cell was that since it's a very big team and there are so many things to do, there are a lot of WhatsApp group as well. So what happens is that, as I said, that when you have such a big team, there'll always be these many groups. And just imagine my plight. Since all of you have my personal number, now everyone has added me into their subgroup as well. So if a team has 10 groups, I'm in those 10 groups. And if there are 17 SDGs, I'm part of those groups. And then there are other subgroups. So it gets even humanly impossible for me to respond or just to see those groups. So I can understand that for people who might not have worked in these big teams, it might be feeling very, very overwhelming with regards to the number of groups you've been added, and you're being bombarded with messages daily, and it gets difficult to just keep a tab. But it's part of the process. I would say that just enjoy this process, because I think this would also give you a feeling of being part of something which is so big, something that is something that you might have not been a part of previously. So just enjoy the process, and it's okay. I think that it's completely natural to get overwhelmed and feel that it's too much. There's too much information to consume, but I think in the end, all of it would work just fine. So just enjoy the process, and you will be okay. So now what we'll do is that I'll just invite a few of you to. I would just request you all to please mute yourself and just let the speaker speak. So whenever we recognize someone, we would request them to please unmute themselves, and the rest of the speakers to please keep their mic on mute. Apart from this, just wanted to share a few more updates before we jump into taking the feedbacks and just to getting to know the progress that the teams have made. On 15th of September, we are organizing a dialogue on the International Day of Democracy. I think information with regards to this was already shared previously, but you would be shared with the meeting details and timings. I think the time is about 3:30 p.m. We have so it's a very novel kind of a dialogue which we are having with young people from various parts of the world. So there'll be representatives from Australia, Malaysia, Philippines, Latin America, Africa. So, I mean, there'll be a representation from various parts of the world, and how young people perceive their democracies in whichever country they are, or in whichever country they might have lived in. How do they see their democracies working in their particular countries or regions, and how do they see the future of their democracies? How young people have been playing a major role in their democracies, or they haven't been playing. How do they what's the status of how do people usually, what are the modes of protesting against a particular say a legislation or a particular issue? So there'll be a lot of discussions around democracy, a lot of discussions around the changing nature of democracies around the world. So if you wish to be a part of it, you're more than welcome, because you're part of the team. It'll be a great opportunity for you to interact with young people from various other parts of the world as well. And we have a few speaking slots as well. So if any one of you wishes to be a speaker, again, you can reach out to either me or to the communication cell with regards to your interest in being part of the discussion. And you will be also sent an indicative list of questions or themes that would be addressed as part of that webinar. So you can be part of that if you want. Okay, so now I think we can now jump into the team discussions. So let's start from the states, if that's okay. Or if there are individuals who are coordinating both states and SDGs, so you can just let us know so that we can address both of them collectively instead of going to you again. Also, since I think there are teams who only have either one representative or two representative. After there is someone who is unmuted themselves, I please request them to mute themselves. Okay, so after today's meeting, what I also request you all is that you can just see if there's a possibility of increasing the number of coordinators within your group, because it can get difficult for only a couple of individuals to manage big groups and big teams. So if it's possible, you can just try and increase the number of coordinators so that it's easier and the workload can get divided. And as I said previously, you can also keep on changing the coordinators and keep on changing the representatives so that power is not concentrated in a few individuals, and we really build a democratized model of leadership and decentralized model of leadership. Okay, so I think we can start with the. Should we start from the top? I think Jammu Kashmir. Is there a representative from Jammu and Kashmir? Okay, I've received a message that Jammu and Kashmir has already sent in their proposal, and I think there are only 4 people. So let's move on to the other state, Punjab. Is there anyone from Punjab? Oh, I'll have to check the list then. Okay, Delhi.
Hi, Vansh, I'm here.
Yeah, is your video on? I'm not able to see you.
My video is not on, but like
Okay.
because you're using to share screen, so I thought let's not turn the video on for the time being. So
Okay.
shall I share the screen now?
Sorry.
Shall I share the screen now?
Are you able to share the screen?
The host has disabled this feature for participants.
Yeah, so you might not be able to share the screen. So if it's possible, can you just brief us without sharing the screen?
Right. All right. So as of now, the Delhi State team has had 3 general meetings.
Okay.
And so in the first general meeting, we decided like how we are going to divide ourselves into different branches. So we have a research and policy and publication branch for Delhi team. We have a partnerships team. We have a social media and communication team, which also includes digital content. We have a technical and designs team. So these are the 4 teams that we decided to divide ourselves into. And then at the second general meeting, what we decided to do was that we are going to create thematic groups, which are going to so we took up 5 themes. We took up health, we took up education, we took up environment, we took up women in law, and we took up peace and fair justice institutions. So in these groups, we had brainstorms. All the people who were interested from the main team of Delhi, they joined that group, and we narrowed it down to a few topics that we'd like to take up.
Okay.
So in the third general meeting, we decided that, we've all narrowed it down to like a few topics that we want to take up. So we have divided ourselves into short-term and long-term goals. So for the short-term goals, we are looking forward to a webinar series. So
Okay.
we are planning on having our first dialogue in the coming weekend. That is on 20th of September. It's going to be on universal health coverage.
Universal health coverage on 20th of September.
Yes. So we are planning. Yes, please go on, Bunch.
Has the time been decided?
So we've not decided the time yet, but we've decided like the duration and mode and everything. I will be forwarding the formal proposal to the CYL.
Okay. Okay.
So
Were you a part of the dialogue session that happened with the resource person last week?
Yes,
This week itself, I think.
Yes,
you were
yes,
there?
yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I was.
So just for the benefit of your team and just for the benefit of all other teams as well, all the dialogue sessions have to be organized on the lines of the dialogue session that we had with the resource person earlier this week. So please, if you haven't watched if you weren't part of the dialogue session, just go and watch the dialogue session. It's live. It's available on the recording is available on Facebook, on the Facebook page. All the dialogues have to be on those similar lines, and then you can have discussions on particular themes, just as Abhishek, if I'm not wrong. Abhishek was recommending that they are planning a discussion around universal health coverage, and then of course then you can just take the discussion towards the larger UN75 themes as well. Yes, Abhishek, you may continue.
Yes, so for the short-term goals, we've decided to have a series of webinars throughout the month of September. And along with that, we will be floating the UN75 survey, and we'll be making our own surveys as well, coupled with some Twitter and, some discussion surveys, etc. And then we have also decided to take up specialized panel discussions, interviews, and debates and campaigns. These are a part of our short-term goals. For the long-term goals, we've decided to make an ebook, which is for that we're going to invite. Am I audible?
Yeah. Go ahead. You're audible.
Yeah, so
Please
for the
go ahead.
long-term goals, we've decided to take up an ebook initiative. So for that, we will be inviting 800 words to 1,000 words articles. I've received a proposal as well. We'll compile all of that the last week of like this initiative. So somewhere 23rd or 24th October, we will finalized ebook to the CYL team. And in the meantime, we will be
Abhishek, you're not audible.
going to focus
Abhishek, you're not audible.
on
The last couple of lines. The last couple of lines weren't audible, Abhishek.
Vansh, is it okay if I join from my mobile phone for the purpose of the audio, since I'm referring my laptop only for the PPT?
Okay. So can we move on to the other stage and we'll come back to you again?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Abhishek. We'll move on to the next, UP.
Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Can you? I cannot see you though. Is your video on?
Yes, Vansh, it's on.
Yes, Isha.
Greetings to all. I am Isha Saxena, the representative of UN75 Uttar Pradesh team. So the first meeting of Uttar Pradesh was held on 5th September 2020 and was simultaneously recorded as well as uploaded. The second meeting of UN75 team was held on 7th September 2020. The meeting started with an ice-breaking session where members introduced themselves and shared their ideas of interest and gradually moved towards the brainstorming session. The points of discussions were departmentalization on the basis of various roles. The various departments would work in sync with each other and would help in assisting the overall dialogue or discussions. There were separate departments made as per the interest as well as the educational background of the team members. The suggested departments were digital content, which includes videographies and content videos, social media and PR, research and policy, technical support and design, which focuses on IT-related queries and implementation along with designs and illustrative work, partnerships, advocacy, focuses on getting in touch with organizations to establish sponsorships or collaborative efforts. The next point of discussion was identification of priority issues and matching persisting issues with the SDGs. Further point of discussions were collaborations with the startups, NGOs, which would facilitate in reaching out to the most affected strata of the society, social entrepreneurs, educational institutions, various organizations and NGOs would be prioritized. The solutions discussed for the problem of difficulty in reaching out to the underprivileged section of the society due to the ongoing pandemic was to contact a representative of each group and take him, her, or they into consultations. The plan of action, which was generated during the respective meetings, the team decided that the Google form would be shared for everyone to fill in their choices of subgroups, the basis being the roles departments suggested. Databases to identify points of contact for collaboration will be prepared till Saturday, that is today. Additions will be made if needed in the future. Official poster for communication purposes is already made. Dialogues, interviews, discussions would be conducted on regular basis in the near future, we have a meeting today for the discussion of the same. Social media post, short films, podcasts, competitions, quizzes, and in addition to it, to gain the support of educational institutions, maybe MUNs will be curated and organized. Okay.
Continue. I'm sorry. I thought that it's been done.
Okay. So we need your due permission if we can generate certificates for the same, for the engagement of students.
Yeah.
And we need a scientific method by which we can shortlist the SDGs from the current 70 to the topmost priority SDGs, which are most relevant to the Uttar Pradesh, the work of which has fortunately started. The team just discussed that the initial funding down will be down through secondary research relevant data to eliminate those SDGs that are not the most relevant to Uttar Pradesh. Once that is achieved for the remaining SDGs, we will hold video consultations with a few leading NGOs, the list of which will be prepared by the team members itself. The FGD will help further shortlist the list of the priority SDGs in our context. On the same has been determined, then the team will reach out to the youth and NGOs in those priority areas to hold deeper consultation around the priority SDGs.
Okay. Thank you so much for a very comprehensive report of whatever has been done and whatever is in progress. Is there a tentative date that has been decided for conducting a UN75 dialogue, which is UP specific?
Yeah, sure. So we are having a team meeting today itself. We'll be
Okay.
deciding the time today, time and date, and we'll,
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Isha. We'll move on to the next. And with regards to your question, with regards to certificates, it's not an issue. It can definitely be done. You can just get in touch with the communication cell, and they'll just tell you the procedure and the process of how it needs to go official. All right. Next
Thank you.
is welcome. Next is Gujarat.
Am I audible?
Yes, Yashvi, you're audible.
Yeah. So Gujarat State conducted its first meeting on 12th of September. We have, as of now, we have 7 members in our team. So since the team has very limited number of members, our focus is on conducting dialogue and on research. For the dialogues, we have proposed of keeping a series of dialogues every week on different SDGs, which will be allotted to the members. These dialogues will also have opening and closing ceremonies where we will invite members of the administrative areas for generating or for better outreach. For the research purposes, what we have decided until now is that we'll be focusing on local models or innovative ideas that have been prepared by individuals or entrepreneurs or businesses that are based in Gujarat, and we'll try to bring them to an international level. As of now, this is what has been decided. We'll go on further and have a meeting to discuss it in a better detail.
That sounds good, Yashvi. And with regards to having a state-specific dialogue, or you're saying that you'll have a series of dialogues, has a timeline been decided? Like, what is the tentative days when you will be having the first dialogue?
We'll most probably start it by the end of September.
End of September. Okay, so that's about 20 days from now, or like just 15 days from now. Okay. Thank you. So for just for the benefit of those teams where you might not have a lot of people, so for example, Gujarat has about 7 people. There might be other states where you might have only 8 to 10 people, and for obvious reasons, there would be states like Delhi, UP, and Maharashtra. So like all these states already have very good representation of individuals. But for states where you might not have a lot of people, I would suggest that you can reach out to a few local organizations. You can reach out to a few local stakeholders, in the sense that you might reach out to startups, you might reach out to educational institutions, and you can involve them in the process. So just do not think that it's just about you 7 people or you 10 people or 8 people. It has to be more the whole process needs to be more inclusive. And to make it more representative, we can reach out to as many partners, as many stakeholders as possible. So it's always encouraged that all those teams who have limited number of people, especially the ones who are, I think that there are teams from states like Kerala who has limited number of people. Gujarat, Yashvi just said. Punjab has a limited number of people. the eastern states have limited number of people. So I think that if there are a few individuals, even if we have a few individuals in those particular teams, you can reach out to more and more stakeholders so that we can expand the base of the team and we can reach out, we can make it more representative. Okay. All right. Next is Madhya Pradesh. Is anyone from Madhya Pradesh? MP here?
Yeah, I'm from Madhya Pradesh. I'm Shambhavi Gupta and I'm representing it on this platform. So we had two meetings. One was scheduled last Sunday and one was yesterday. And the first meeting was basically to decide what unique contribution can Madhya Pradesh group give to UN75. And what we decided was that since there are SDG groups which are already looking at some specific issues nationally, however, there has to be some local state group that should, bring up the voices of the people. And we earlier had a few ideas. One was basically to, collaborate with the SDG groups and then bring out the problems. Other was to directly shortlist problems from our research and bring out them. But what we decided was to unlearn what we have learned from a lot of policymakers, that we should research and decide the problems ourselves. Rather, we thought that maybe the problems should come up from the dialogues that we conduct, and then only we can voice up the opinion of the people of Madhya Pradesh. So we are conducting basically one campaign. We haven't decided the name yet, but something around Hamara Madhya Pradesh. And we will be in that voicing up the opinions of different target groups. So we have divided our work based on target groups, which include children, the youth, the businessmen, the homemakers, the elderly people, the tribal population of Madhya Pradesh. And these are decided based on our reach, as in at our personal level of all the members. With this, we have decided to conduct one dialogue for the school children by the end of this week. And in that, how we are sampling out and reaching out to the people is that we have a good diversity of city representatives in our group. So we will be contacting the schools that we know in the cities that we are residing in right now. And from that, we will be shortlisting around 20 to 30 school children, considering the diversity as our topmost priority in that. And then simultaneously, we'll be conducting a sample survey in which we will be asking the people, that will be through a social media blast. And in that, we will be asking people what are the problems they are facing. And at the end of all the dialogues, once we have conducted for all the target groups, we will be selecting a problem which has the majority votes in terms of the survey that we are conducting. As if somebody says that poverty is the most biggest issue of Madhya Pradesh, then we will call up different target groups, representation from different target groups that we had already talked to in our last dialogues. And we will have a holistic perspective from all the target groups to that problem, and see how they perceive it, and what are their if what a child perceives as poverty and what a businessman perceives as poverty. So this is it. And also simultaneously, some of the members are interested in conducting SDG specific dialogues with the authorities. So we will be initiating that, but the date for the same has not been decided. And lastly, we are thinking of making something of a kind of a document of Madhya Pradesh through ages, and seeing where do we lag, and what could be some good practices within our cities itself. For example, Indore was recently voted as one of the most cleanest city in India. So what are the good practices within the local state that could be replicated or initiated in other cities as well? So that is what it is right now. And we have recently contacted some of the local media who are willing to initiate this dialogue and spreading awareness through it. Also, when it comes to the division of responsibility, since it's a small group again, only 18 participants are there right now. So we have divided the responsibilities individually, and we will be maybe changing it if anyone is interested in learning from the one who has already done it. So we are working on those lines.
Sounds very, very comprehensive, Shambhi, and thank you for just pointing all these things out. Very, very. It's. I think that your team is one of the best examples of how numbers might not matter. If you're just a team of 18 people, and if you managed to uh, do so many things already in this limited amount of time, and you've like achieved a significant amount of progress, I think kudos to you and your team. Please express my appreciation for the whole team. On and I don't know whether other team members are here in the meeting or
Yeah,
not,
they are here.
but if
Yeah.
you are, but if you're here, just keep it up. I think it's a very, very good plan, and some other teams can also. I'm sure that some other teams will also take inspiration from the kind of initiatives that you've done. And previously as well, I think whatever Delhi is doing, UP, Gujarat, and then MP, we've just had 4 states. Every state has something unique that they're doing,
Yeah.
and all of us can learn from each other and see as to what are the best things that we can also implement. What are the best practices that we can implement, not only in terms of internal management of teams, but also in terms of the actual real projects and initiatives that we are doing. Also, what you all can do is that I'm sure that all of you are very, very, you're very self-motivated individuals, and all your lives you might have wanted to do something great in your life, and you might have this urge to say contribute back to the society, back to the community. You might have wanted to build your own organizations, but you might not have got that opportunity to do so. I think that now this opportunity might present you a great platform to build that particular idea that you might have in school, in college, or even after you graduated college, and you always wanted to work upon it in terms of so all these plans that you might have for social development, community programs, etc. I think this can be a great platform for you to implement those, because you already have a ready team working with you for that. You already have a platform like CYL who can accelerate your impact. So all of you, if you take this as an opportunity, I think that all teams and all individuals can achieve significant heights in their professional and personal growth as well. And also a side note on whatever I've heard whatever I've heard from the teams as of now, and whatever I'll be hearing uh, from the SDG teams as well as the state teams. Uh, let's also realize that it's not only about SDGs. UN is not only about SDGs. United Nations, of course, SDGs is a uh, very important initiative for the next decade to come. That is 2030, which is the cutoff date. But apart from that, there are a lot of things that need to change within the United Nations system. And when we talk of United Nations of the future, especially from India's perspective, there are a lot of things that we as Indians want to change within the United Nations system. So I think that as we proceed, as we progress in the process of organizing events or writing articles, blogs, papers, etc., let's also focus on all those things. For example, India has been at the forefront of talking about United Nations reforms, not only the UNSC reforms, but other reforms within the UN system as well. Of course, UNSC reforms can also be taken by some of you if you wish to. You can talk about the G4 that is there. You can talk about the coffee club that is there, that is opposing the G4's accession to the UN Security Council. You can talk of India's increased role in the UN in the year to come, because as you might have already know that India has already got into the non-permanent, has just got the non-permanent membership of the United Nations Security Council, which will significantly increase India's say in the UNSC. So although it's a non-permanency, but still it has it carries weight. So these are all issues which we can also discuss and can also organize events, conduct our researches, write our papers, articles, etc. on all these issues as well, and move beyond SDGs also. So there are teams who are already working on SDGs. There are states who would be working on SDGs as well. But when we talk of the UN is much more than the SDGs. So we can also broaden our scope of work and include other things as well. both from the Indian perspective and both from the global perspective. So Indian perspective would include whatever things that we've been discussing about UN reforms, etc. And global perspective would be how the structure, the governance, internal governance structure of the UN should change, how young people can, how the representation of young people within the UN systems should change. There was a campaign that was launched by one of the UN75 teams in some other country. I was just having a look at it. I'm forgetting the name of the country. It's a African country where they've launched young people in that particular country. No, it's not one particular country. They've clubbed 3-4 countries in the region, and they've launched a campaign of how United Nations should not provide unpaid internships. So I mean, it's UN is a platform. So the UN Charter itself says that it's the people of the world. The United Nations is representative of the people of the world, and since all of us are equally global citizens, I mean, so we can voice our opinions in whichever way we want to, and however we perceive the UN of the future to be, that can definitely be part of our programs as we proceed. So just a side note with regards to whatever we've been discussing and whatever we'll be discussing, we can also include and expand beyond SDGs as well. Okay, so we'll move on to the next now, Maharashtra. Also,
hi
just a
everyone.
request.
Am I audible?
I'm so sorry to cut you in between. Just a request for all the speakers who will be speaking. Let's keep the interaction short so that we can include all the speakers and we do not exceed the meeting time. Okay. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Yes. Hello everyone. My name is Saloni Vichare and I'm from Mumbai, representing the state team of Maharashtra under UN75 initiative. I'm super glad to be here. I'll keep it brief, concise, and comprehensive. So, with respect to the first of all, the motive of the aim and objective of our team is to spread awareness, but also at the same time to bring out a session-based approach to whatever themes and whatever issues we will discuss. So, based on that, we have given a structure to the team basis of sole purpose of facilitating specialization and involving if it, like efficient result based approach. Therefore, we have 3 departments in our team. One is research, the second is moderation, and the third is PR and digital content. So under research, we will be looking at articles and papers, which will be related to the selected theme we will be working on, say for a duration of a week. And then under moderation, the moderation team will be focused on, organizing the dialogues, the sessions, right from the technical aspect of it to preparing a report that has to be sent to the UN. The third one is PR and digital content, wherein we will be, will make sure that we make everyone aware of our work through, public relations on social media, and also provide a digital content-based, approach to whatever theme that we select. So that's about it for the department, like the structure of the team. Now I would like to request Samiti Kumar, she's an representative for the state team of Maharashtra, to take over. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Saloni.
Thank you, Saloni. I'm Samriti Kumar, and I'm representing Maharashtra with her. So the theme that we decided for 27th of September is impact of COVID-19 on the economy of Maharashtra. This is a much broader theme, and we will be narrowing it down to a few topics ranging across various SDGs and having a conversation and a dialogue on this. We've also decided to hold another dialogue in October. However, the date we've not decided for that. And then we will be working on that respectively as and when we have our meetings.
Okay, thank you, Samriddhi. We'll move on to the next state now. Next state is Kerala. Is anyone from Kerala here? Is Kerala being represented in today's meeting? No, so we'll just write down. Bihar. Anyone from Bihar? Okay, Tamil Nadu.
Yes, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Okay, I'm sorry I couldn't turn on my video. I'm having a
That's
connectivity
okay.
issue.
Not a problem. Don't worry.
Okay, so hello, I am Varsha Balaganesh representing Tamil Nadu and I'm based in Chennai. So on the first meeting, we generally had two meetings, and on the first meeting, we brainstormed on how to work on the themes, and the themes are having access to quality education and gender awareness, and knowing the importance of indigenous knowledge of Tamil Nadu. I like to add a point here, like Tamil Nadu's indigenous knowledge has been fading away slowly over here, but it has been cropping up in other countries like Thailand and Singapore. So we're working on how it can be brought back and make it shine again. And speaking of our plan of action, we did a small research on the previous years of SDGs of Tamil Nadu. And in 2019, we are actually pretty good. We have nearly 10 goals which are in good shape, and we need to work on the rest 7 goals. So based on this, we are going to have a outreach program to schools and how to have a dialogue with them now that we are having classes online. So we are working on how to host it and in the form of webinar and an interactive session. So before we commence that, we are going to have a TN specific survey to determine the level of awareness of the SDGs and UN. So as we move to rural parts, we don't know it's difficult to know if people know SDGs and UN. So we're going to first check on that. And then maybe we're going to have an introductory video like highlighting Tamil Nadu's trends and how people can contribute to the dialogue and how things can be taken to UN. So on the second meeting, we worked on our tentative date for hosting a dialogue. So we currently spoke to the citizens in consumer and civic action group in Chennai, and we'll be having a dialogue probably by third week of October. And finally, I think that's it. I think we're done.
Thank you. Thank you, Varsha, for sharing the updates. Thank you, Varsha. A lot of you are mentioning about having these digital campaigns and all. So just wanted to say that if you wish to utilize the various social media handles of CWAL, you're more than welcome to do so. And you just need to contact the communication cell team and they'll be happy to just help you out. Whatever content that you need to put out through the social media handles of CWAL, you can definitely do so. Of course, you can utilize and leverage your own personal handles as well. And it's a good way to boost your individual and build, if not boost, at least build your individual digital brand as well if you wish to do that. But beyond that, if you also wish to use and utilize CWAL handles, you can definitely do so. They already have a considerable amount of reach, so it's better to leverage that particular reach and reach out to your reach out to various stakeholders that you wish to reach out to, the targeted audience. Okay, next is Maharashtra. We've done Bihar, Kerala, Gujarat. Okay, Rajasthan. Do we have anyone from Rajasthan?
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's okay.
We've had one meeting to discuss everything, and before that, we were discussing the broad themes and the broad nuances on the group itself. So earlier we were discussing the broad topics, and also we've discussed a little about collaborations, and people came ahead and told about the kind of organizations they could approach. But in the meeting, we sort of divided the issues we wanted to discuss into some headers, like we have social, economic, environmental, and defense, because we're a border state, so there are a lot of border related issues as well. So we are wishing to host our first dialogue on 26th of September, and we're still going to decide the time for it, but the date is 26th, and we're going to do that on tourism, because I think we all thought that that's a great place to start. And for the entire hosting of the dialogues, we've divided, we're not a very big team. There are only 50 So we gave people the option of choosing whatever section they were comfortable with. So we have logistics and content, research, outreach, and note taking and writing the report after the dialogue. And so that is pretty much about it. And we're going to start dividing the segments for the dialogue on tourism after today. And but there are two, three concerns that I wanted to clear out with you. One is we were going to have a discussion about digital content and all sorts of things, but we were very unsure of where we're going to put that out. So, but you cleared it out that we can use CYL handle. So I think we can have a discussion on that now.
And
another thing,
just to add to that, apart from the social media handles and all, if you are already, and it's not for you, but for other teams as well, since a lot of you would be creating a lot of research-based content and articles and all, we are starting a specific section on the website itself, the Policy Chronicles website, that will cater to all the content that is being generated under various teams through the UN75 initiative. So all your research-based content can be, first of course, it will be reviewed by the editorial board, and then all of it can be published on the website. So all those individuals who are working for that, their work would be recognized and will be there on the website for them to also add it to their profiles and CVs, etc. For after this, like even after this project, if their work is getting published, so they can utilize that as well. So all the research-based content that is being created by your particular teams, you can just reach out to the editorial board members. I think that their contact details have already been shared, so you can just contact them, and they'll be more than happy to guide you through the process of how the publication process would be proceeding. And yes, Akshata, you can you were saying something.
yeah, so when we reached out to people for collabs and like institutions and everything, they said that we need a formal, this thing of what is happening. So we need help from the CYL team regarding that, because they told me
Not an
that
issue.
we need a formal invitation. And
Not an issue. Not an issue. You just reach out to the communication cell. Just give them the draft email that needs to be sent, and the email ID that it needs to be sent. They'll send it through the official email ID, and they'll formulate whatever needs to be added formally from the CVL. Then they'll just do that, and that can go right. Not an issue.
Okay, and so before collaborating, we are planning to host 3-4 individual dialogues, so we have enough traction and everything.
Absolutely.
And another thing is that we're also wanting to involve some government representatives and some bureaucrats.
Yeah.
But again, for that we need to approach them and do
Not
everything.
an issue. Not an issue. Just reach out to them. The mails would be sent. Not a problem
Okay.
at all.
Okay, so that is all from our side.
Great. Some teams have already done so. I think that there were a few teams who've already created, sent their draft mails. Their emails were approved, and they've been sent. Some emails are in the pipeline, because there are a lot of teams who are doing these collaborations, partnerships, and inviting guests. So some emails have already been sent. Some are in the pipeline. So all of them would be sent. So if there's anyone who you wish to invite, you can always reach out to the dedicated number, and that'll be done. Not an issue. Okay. Next, West Bengal.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my connectivity. I mean, I have a very dodgy network. My name
That's
is.
okay. That's okay. You
representing
don't
West
need to
Bengal.
be sorry. That's okay.
Yeah. So the team of West Bengal is a very small team. We have about 10 or 11 members. So we conducted a first meeting on September 9th, 2020. And all the team members hail from different academic disciplines, and they have varied interest as far as the SDGs are concerned, or also the research areas.
Yeah.
So we have, as a team, we have decided to have multiple dialogues, not just concentrating on one dialogue for the state, but all multiple state specific dialogues. So they would be ranging from climate action or climate education, in a way, merging climate change and education together, and also gender equality. So it was agreed that we have created a Google document where we'll be collating all the ideas, and we are supposed to have a meeting to finalize the final dialogue or dialogues by next week. Then the team is also going to focus on various. We haven't divided the team according to the domains because we are a small team, so the work will be overlapping, and each of us will be having our back again for the team. So we'll be conducting dialogue, we will be having research, publication, or content, and then we will be also trying to publish it on the social media handles, and finally outreach activities. So starting with research, we will be having papers on climate change or climate education. Then when we come to outreach, we have decided to reach out to young children or school kids of Calcutta, and some of the team members have their networks or contacts in different NGOs in the city, from where we will be getting our networks for talking to people or practitioners who are involved into school education about climate change or environmental protection. So we'll be getting in touch with them, and we are also contemplating to circulate questionnaires among either the school kids or the practitioners to get a perspective on what their idea about climate change awareness specifically in West Bengal is. The second aspect that we are planning to pick up is another important area of West Bengal is not just Kolkata but Darjeeling as well. So Darjeeling has a couple of tribes in the hilly areas of Darjeeling. So we are planning to tap the idea of indigenous knowledge, as the another member pointed out about Tamil Nadu. So similarly in West Bengal we have a lot of indigenous tribe, especially something called the Santals in Bolpur district of Shantiniketan. So we are also thinking of conducting dialogues with again practitioners who work in these areas at the grassroots level and get their perspective about how they can bring reach out to the wider audience in the international stature. So again, this can be done with conducting interviews or dialogues with them. Then another issue that has been picked up by the team is lack of access to healthcare facilities or sanitation. This is just at a very nascent stage. We haven't developed the idea, but this is also part of the multiple dialogue or dialogues that we are planning to have. And uh, yeah, so and also the one of the other areas that we are planning to tap is the Sundarban after the Amphan cyclone that hit our city and the state. It has drastically changed the setup of the entire state. So Sundarbans has been devastated pretty badly. So that is also under our radar when we talk about the the multiple dialogues that we are formulating. So we are supposed to have another meeting, the second meeting, in fact, next week, where we'll be finalizing the date for the dialogue. But tentatively, I can tell you we'll be having a first dialogue either at the end of September. Yeah. So
Thank you.
that's what has happened on our front till now. Yeah.
Thank you so much for a very comprehensive report on whatever is being done in your respective team, and I think you brought out a very pertinent point with regards to Sundarbans and mangroves per se. And I think this is one issue that can also be taken up by the team, be the SDG team that is looking after climate change, as well as a few states on the western coast, especially Mumbai. So, as you would know, that most of the cyclones, as all of you would know, that most of the cyclones usually came through Bay of Bengal. But now, after so many years, we saw that there's been a recent trend from for cyclones coming from Arabian Sea as well, and there was a recent threat to Mumbai as well when a cyclone had to hit Mumbai, but fortunately it didn't make a landfall. And one of the reasons why that has been one of the reasons which is being ascribed to this increase in landfalls and the threat perception of Mumbai is the reduction of mangroves as well. So I think that this is one very you can just so I mean the team which is looking after Maharashtra or the team which is looking after the SDG, the climate change SDG, they can take up such practical issues as well within our own country and even beyond the country as well, because these are things which are happening right in front of us and happening right in our own country and our own states. So I think these are practical issues that we can take up. Of course, then there are practical issues like, say, air pollution. We are just moving into that particular season where you will have the burning of harvests. They'll start in month of October now. So the problem of air pollution will again resurface. So these are some practical issues which we can also take up as we proceed. So thank you so much, Swati, if I'm not wrong. Swati, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Swati. And also, I also wanted to say that, especially for all the teams, irrespective of whether you're working in a state team or SDG team, there are individuals who already have experience of working on all these issues. They have the required knowledge, they have the required expertise, they have the required academic qualifications. Some individuals are already working professionals, some individuals are already have pursued their masters or are doing their pursuing their PhDs. So my request to all of you would be to please, especially the ones who are still in their colleges, undergraduate colleges, or there are people who just entered college and people who are in their second or third years of college. Please learn from these individuals who might be there in your team. You might not know them already. You might not know their qualifications, but there are a lot of individuals within our whole team who are doing some exceptional work, and they already have the requisite academic qualifications. They are already working professionals who are working on the field. And it'll be a great opportunity for all of you as well to learn from their experience, to learn from the knowledge that they already have. So just have a conversation amongst your team. These individuals might not have been part of your previous meetings. They might or might not have been part. But if there are individuals who are elder to you, who are already working in the field, just learn from their knowledge, just learn from their experience, and I'm sure that these individuals would be a great guiding light to all the teams. Yeah. So the next is Jharkhand. Is anyone here from Jharkhand?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Who is it? I'm sorry, I cannot see you. So if you could just tell me
Sir,
your name.
this is Kritika here. Kritika
Hi,
Upreti.
Kritika. Hi, Kritika.
So good afternoon, everyone. So I'm the representative of UN75 Jharkhand, and we have till now conducted 2 meetings. Our first meeting was held on 6th September, and we had a great introduction session, and we discussed about various SDGs. So, among which we specifically focused on SDG 3, that is health and well-being, SDG 6, that is clean water and sanitation, and SDG 9, which is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. So, on our second meeting, that was yesterday, 11 September, we discussed about to start with SDG 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, as our first dialogue. So we have discussed about different write-ups that we can prepare with other activities, and also how we will be presenting posters and a kind of small short videos that will be posting on social media platforms. And also we are now advised to conduct a research on SDG 9 that will be related to specifically Jharkhand. And then among those topics, we have finalized some of the speakers. We are planning to conduct a webinar. So after the topics are selected, we'll be finalizing the speaker, and we will be inviting him or her formally through mails. And then after this, we'll be making sort of posters related to that topic and small videos, and that will be posting in our social media handles. And also we were planning for surveys through Google Forms, like questions and all, and also we were planning to conduct quiz in our state.
Great.
So till now we have discussed about these things.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kritika, for sharing all these updates. And I hope that I can see that you're well on track. But with regards to the dialogue, have you decided a tentative date as of now, or no?
No, so we haven't decided any date and time, but we are planning for after 20th of September. So we'll be ready till 20th.
Okay, great. Sounds great. Thank you, Kritika. We'll move on to the next, Chhattisgarh. Is anyone from Chhattisgarh here? Chhattisgarh? Okay.
Hi, Vansh.
Okay. Yeah.
Hi. I'm sorry, I'm not the representative of Chhattisgarh, but I am part of Chhattisgarh team as well.
So you're a representative. Don't worry. Anyone who's representing the team here is a representative.
All right. Yeah. So Chhattisgarh team had its first meeting, I believe, very early in the first week of September. And after that, the team is comprising of only 3%, 3 or 4%
Okay.
actually. Yeah. But all are very passionate about taking this through. Towards the end, and make sure that the United Nations 75 dialogue reaches to the Chhattisgarh population the best possible way. We have initial meeting was like you said that United Nations is not only about SDGs. So I guess we have also recognized that, and we thought that we will having an indigenous tribal dialogue, because that is also one of the things that United Nations has recently formulated. So we will be actually working on that. There are we are also reaching out to a few entrepreneurs and the bureaucrats who are either a part of our network, and then we are going to have a kind of panel discussion with them. That the theme would be some, I mean, it's not decided, but it will be something on along the line of climate action and rural livelihood. So that is the thing that we are actually kind of targeting. And we have already reached out to various panels, and they have kind of agreed. We are just trying to finalize a theme more precisely, so that we can have an expected outcome out of the whole issue. And then we are also planning to conduct a series of dialogue. Initially we will be having a kind of exploratory in nature, and then we'll further narrowing it down and have a series of dialogue so that by the time we are done with our with this whole initiative, we'll have kind of a very thorough outcome oriented research, which we can present to United Nations. Although we are a small team, but what we have kind of decided is that instead of doing too many things, we'll just do a couple of things, and we'll do those things very very comprehensively. So that is the whole idea of us. So a couple of us are enthusiastic about the climate action, so we will be taking it forward. Then we will be actually focusing a lot on the indigenous tribes. That's a second line of action for us. And the third thing is obviously the poverty. So these three areas are basically that we have decided as a group, and we will be working on that.
Thank you so much, Shakti, for that very comprehensive report. And I would just say that numbers don't matter. So irrespective whether you're 4 people, 3 people, or just
True.
one person. So I think what matters more is your passion towards working towards all these things, which is already there. So I'm sure that you will do something great out of all these initiatives.
Thanks, Vansh. Just one last bit.
Yeah.
Vansh, it's great to see you back in action after such a devastating personal emergency. And thanks a lot for all the commitment that you have.
Thank you so much, Shakti. Next is Assam. Sam, is anyone here from Assam?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi.
Hello. So just give me a moment. I'll have to open a document to explain it properly. Yes. So we have decided that our broader objective would be to work on better integration of the state in the mainstream India. By integration, I mean integration by narrative. We would be doing this by creating an awareness about the issues and our indigenous practices. Then again, our other objective is to make an awareness about SDGs and the larger UN75 initiative in this state. So whatever we would be doing, we will connect it with any of the SDGs or any of the other objective of UN, and the overarching banner would be global partnership. In the month of September, we are planning to organize 2 webinars. The probable dates are 20th and 27th. First would be on the issue of natural resources of the state. Here we will try to focus on the Bagjan issue. And the other webinar, we are planning to call representatives from different organizations or NGOs who are already working in the state to give an exposure to their work and also have a discussion on their work and the obstacles they face and how they are doing it. For the month of October, we do not have a fixed plan yet, but we're just having a rough idea. We are planning to organize interviews with youth who have had an experience of working on issues of the state. We are also planning to partner with a college to spread awareness about the UN75 initiative. And then we are planning to organize webinars on the issue of flood. And another one would be organized for the promotion of textile and handicraft in industries of the state, and also what all issues it faces. One question I have is that can we have someone made up small videos for the in the CYL page of Instagram, because we think that those small videos that usually come up, they're very attractive or very useful to promote awareness about any issue. So we were thinking that maybe we could make those videos about this app, that maybe we can promote some ideas about that.
We can do that, not an issue.
Yeah.
Sampurna, hi Vansh. Just
Yeah,
to
so
add,
she's another representative. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So me and Sampurna, we have been discussing about that. So I am already attached to a few organizations working pan-India, but primarily on the Northeast and funded by people from the Northeast. So I believe, highlighting their work through the partnership will be a good way to start off because they are also working on the SDG issues.
Sounds very good.
As far as I had just a doubt regarding how do we function about this, is that when you are talking about us, trying to organize dialogues, what do you have in mind as to what you are expecting from us? Like how many dialogues or how many events do you expect us to conduct? Because I think that is the way, if we have that framework in mind, we can work better.
Now, have you been part of the previous meetings that we've had? I'm sorry, who is it? Anandita.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Have you been part of the previous meetings that we've had?
Previous meeting in the last meeting?
No, like any meetings that you've had
Yes,
like interactions with me.
I did attend.
So if you were me and I was posing you this question, what would have I said with regards to this?
I think you would have said that we can go as we think we'd feel necessary to discuss it.
Absolutely. So this is what this is the kind of leadership model that we wish to create. Instead, and this is something which I've been highlighting right from the very first meeting. But if you want any guidance in the sense that what is my personal opinion, I can give that. But ultimately, the decision would lie on the team. So if you ask my personal opinion, if I was leading a team, so my plan of action would be to at least have 2 big dialogues and have at least 3 to 4 micro dialogues. And micro dialogues might be in the form of interviews, as someone said. They can be in form of just focus group discussions between 4 to 5 people. But at least 2 big dialogues. 2 big dialogues. With when I say big dialogues would mean diverse group of people and more representative. So instead of micro dialogue, instead of people who like just 4-5 people, we would have at least about 25, 30, 40 people attending those dialogues. If more, more the merrier, but at least 30 to 40 people, so that we keep the conversation going. We try and build that public discourse that is required. For the dialogues that we've had previously through CYL, there are dialogues when we had when not with regards to UN75, but other dialogues that we keep on having. We have a lot of diplomatic dialogues. Some of you have already been part of it. We have other dialogues as well. So we have usually the size is very, very big. And so with regards to your teams as well, I think if you can plan out dialogues which are on this model, like at least 2 to 3 big dialogues and then at least 3-4 micro dialogues, I think you'll be in a good space. But then again, this is my personal take. I think rest of it lies on the team, how they wish to proceed, and they can adopt a completely new model as well. All right. So that's my personal opinion. If you have any question with regards to this, I can answer.
No, I just have another. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, Sampurna, go ahead. I don't think there's anything as such as of now.
Okay, I just had to inform that we were also planning to initiate, planning to reach out to school students in order to spread an awareness about the UN75 entire initiative. In this respect, we were specifically thinking of targeting the government schools, because these schools often have people from underprivileged backgrounds, and these kids do not have access to this sort of information. They lack the material and the societal resources. So we're still thinking how to be reached out, but this is just, we have a broad framework. Like we're thinking how to target different age groups and societal groups as well.
Thank you, Sampurna, and thank you, Anandita, for the comprehensive report. We'll move on to the next, Karnataka.
Hi, this is Vijeta. I'm sorry, I'm not switching on the video as of now.
That's okay.
Okay, I am representing Karnataka today. I've just volunteered to represent. We in the Karnataka group, we are 9 members, and we've had I'm trying to say a smaller group. So we've had 2 meetings. We've had a meeting on 2nd of September, which was an ice-breaking session, and then we had a meeting on 7th of September to discuss how to go about. And what we planned was we had divided. During our discussions, we thought of going through Karnataka, dividing the state of Karnataka with respect to SDGs. For example, the Western Ghats come under the climate action, the northern part of Karnataka come under the SDG group for poverty and hunger, and the manufacturing group of part of Karnataka, that is the southern part of Karnataka. So we decided to target the SDGs based on Karnataka areas of Karnataka, and what we decided was let's go for the easier options at hand, and then think of other options to go ahead with. And hence one of our team members is actually studying in University of Manipal. So hence we decided the team member can conduct a webinar session with because the member has a good network contacts in the university. So there could be a webinar session with the faculty members wherein we can talk about health, because of course it's a Manipal University. So we decided we'll have a discussion on health about the current corona crisis. And of course, since the September is also a Poshan month, so we decided that we could have a discussion on women health and child health as well. And this will be conducted after 13th of September, because one of the personal meetings of the team member would be completed after 13th September. And we can have one of our other team members to pitch in, talk about UN75 initiatives to begin the webinar with, and then the discussion can go ahead with respect to health. This was the plan as of now for us.
Sounds very good, and I'm under your guidance and leadership. I'm sure that I think I've been observing you since very long, and you are very able and efficient individual, and I'm sure that under your guidance the team would do very well.
Thank you. Thank you. That puts a responsibility also in me. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Himachal Pradesh. Is anyone from Himachal Pradesh here? Himachal Pradesh, I head out. Okay, Andhra Pradesh. Anyone from Andhra Pradesh? Okay, I think that's about the states. Have I left any state by mistake?
Hi Vansh, I'm Kamaldeep. So actually Punjab representative is not here, so I'm representing.
Okay. Please, Kamaldeep. Thank you.
Let me just open. They have shared one PPT, so I'll just narrate that.
Okay, you can just tell us in brief. It's okay.
Just a brief of the. I'll just show you. So basically, in Punjab, we have 10 members and only 5 members are active who are responding to all the Google forms and sheets. So we have divided the team in content creation and outreach, research, and the third one is management and coordination with COL and other partners. So the plan of action, the team has bring out 7 issues in Punjab, which is drug use in youth, unemployment, farmer suicides, equality, gender equality, land degradation and lowering crop production, quality of education, and pending Punjab loans and drainage of money. These are the 7 broad issues which all of us have collaboratively decided to talk on. And then we will align these questions, these issues with the central questions of the UN given in the toolkit. We will make a questionnaire out of it, and then we will do our dialogue. So basically these are 7 issues, so 7 dialogues which we have planned to do. So the first dialogue will be done on the 20th of September 2020, which will be on drug use prevalent in Punjab. So for this, we have also talked to the SDG 3 team of good health and well-being. So we will be collaborating with them and we will have a dialogue together. So that's about it. We have just decided to do this.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kamaldeep, for first of all filling in for your team representative and sharing your updates.
Once I'm also representing
Yeah.
SDG 15, Life on Land. So
Okay.
if you think I can brief about that also.
I think we're just moving to the SDGs now because I think only one state is left. So let's get over with Haryana.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we can probably move on to the SDGs.
Okay,
I think
fine.
Haryana is left. Haryana is, are you here? Is anyone from Haryana here?
Good afternoon, everyone. So I am here to represent UN75 Haryana team. So we've had 2 meetings till date, and the first meeting took place on 6th of September, where and the points were as follows. So we thought of collecting the suggestions while also working on the offline data collection in order to cover all the maximum sections of the society, be it on the basis of income groups, age groups, locations, etc. Also, we thought of dividing the team on the basis of 5-6 main groups, which were like research, content creation, awareness sessions, partnerships, technology, etc. We also decided to do pilot studies for knowing the issues faced and finding and proposing suggestions for the same. And yes, we thought of connecting with the Angarwadis, and the organizations collaborated with them in order to get the population of the rural area as well. Also, yes, due to the low participation, we couldn't really bifurcate our team on the basis of the subdivisions mentioned above. So as far as the yesterday's meeting is concerned, so yeah, we thought of making a list of the organizations we'll be reaching out to with the help of the entire team. And we have made a plan for the next week, and post that we'll be planning soon. And
Okay.
so yeah, as far as today, like 12th September is concerned, we'll be making the list of the organizations we'll be reaching out to, and also we'll be drafting a final official email to be sent out for the people. Also, yeah, we'll be making sure that everyone fills and submits the feedback form post each dialogue. And by 18th of September, we'll be creating and finishing the survey questions in both the languages, in Hindi and in English. And yeah, by 18th of September itself, we'll be creating a small presentation to be used in the dialogues, so that for the people of our own group, for supporting them, which will have the introduction of the SDGs and the UN, specifically in the rural population. And from 21st of September, we'll be starting off with the dialogues. And from 21st, we'll be starting off with the dialogues in our respective individual groups, both offline and online. And post that, we'll be planning out with for the bigger ones. And yeah, we are planning to have a next meeting in the next upcoming weekend. And then we'll be deciding the bigger dialogues.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Vansh, I just want to add a couple of
Please.
points in that. So Haryana
Please.
has decided to do a survey to conduct the level of awareness about SDGs in Haryana across various genders, age groups, and socio-political things. For that, we'll be partnering with hospitals, schools, colleges in our individual network. So that's how we are trying to reach out to them. And in the same organization, if they wish for us to go and conduct more awareness sessions, we'll be doing it through webinars. So that will be part of the dialogues. And the small presentation is to assist our team so that all the members are able to do a awareness dialogue in the respective areas. And based on the dialogues, then we'll be doing the further things. And based on the feedback that we'll get, we'll be planning the bigger dialogue. So that we'll be doing by end of next week.
Sounds very good and comprehensive, and I'm hopeful that you're able to achieve all these tasks with the given limited constraints that you have with regards to the team members. I think we have one update from who's this?
Yeah, this is Abhishek from Delhi State Team. I just wanted to say
yes,
that maybe I could email the PPT to you and the communications team, so like we don't have to go over it again, like the Delhi status.
Sure, you can do that. You can do that,
Thank you so much. There were some requirements that I wanted you guys to look into. So please, I'll implement that.
Okay, okay, Abhishek. Uh, Lakshmi, you have an update from the Kerala team. If you could just share.
Hi, Vansh.
Hi.
Please excuse my video for today. I'm having
That's
a
okay.
power
Not a
failure
problem.
here.
Not a problem.
Yeah, so no major updates from Kerala team as such yet. My apologies for that. We are holding our first dialogue today at around 5 p.m. And
Okay.
probably after that, we can share the updates or the minutes with CYL team
All
offline.
right. All right. Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
thank
Lakshmi.
you.
You can just keep us in the loop.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
We'll do
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. I think we are done with the states. Now we'll directly move into the SDGs. So I'll just call out the various SDGs. But before that, I just wanted to make a small comment on why is it that we're proceeding like this, where you have to self-regulate, self-govern your teams, is because that ultimately all individuals only work when they're self-motivated and self-driven. You cannot motivate someone to work, or you cannot force someone to work if they are not self-motivated or self-driven. Of course, you can make them work if there are other incentives and they wish to work for that, but then that particular thing is not coming from within. They'll just be working to complete that particular task or the given work that is there, and there won't be any intrinsic motivation that's there. So if there's no intrinsic motivation in individuals, our our professional or personal growth does not happen. It is just that we are just ticking the boxes with regards to the tasks we need to complete. So ultimately, it all boils down to how we can create an environment where there is some intrinsic motivation for individuals to flourish personally as well as professionally. So I think that should be the goal of all team coordinators, team representatives, or you can call yourselves as team leaders, because you have to inculcate that environment, facilitate that environment, talk to your particular team members who are not that active. What are the challenges that they're facing? What are the obstacles that they're facing in terms of time constraints, or are they getting very overwhelmed with the kind of work that is there, or they're not feeling comfortable? So there are individuals who are very, very so for example, I can speak for myself. I'm an introvert. I cannot I feel it's a challenge for me to talk. I mean, I know that you might feel that it's the other way around, but I'm strictly a very private person. I do not go out a lot. I do not meet people. I have challenges in striking conversations with people. So there can be individuals within your respective teams as well who are not that forthcoming, who might be having certain challenges reaching out to other team members. So we need to realize and recognize the core strengths and weaknesses of each of the individuals in our team, and then accordingly accommodate them in the team process. So for example, there are individuals who are not that comfortable speaking out, who are not that comfortable interacting with people. You can talk to them, and you can collectively decide as to what are the particular things that they can perform best in. So for example, I can speak for a lot of introverts. So they do not like to get onto calls. They do not like to be part of meetings. For example, when I have to organize Zoom calls and Zoom meetings, or just get on call, I feel drained out when the meetings end, right? Because it's socially very draining when I like meet people. But unfortunately, since I have a job at my hand, in the sense that I have to do this because of the position I am in. I have to meet people. I have to interact with teams. I have to get on calls. So this is a challenge which personally I've tried to overcome. But there are a lot of individuals who might not be very comfortable with this. So we have to recognize their core strengths and weaknesses as well. And each and every individual has some core strengths and weaknesses. So as team members, you have to help your other team members to first of all know their strengths and weaknesses, know their particular interests and passions, how we can align their passions with what they are doing. Because if they're doing something they're passionate about, they won't need external motivation. They'll just work for it. They'll just work for it without even requiring any push from your end. कभी भी आपको किसी को पुश करना पड़े, तो आप समझ जाइए कि वो काम कर रहे हैं जिसके लिए वो मोटिवेटेड नहीं है, सेल्फ मोटिवेटेड, सेल्फ ड्रिवन नहीं है. ठीक है, तो as team representatives, as team leaders, it is all of us all of us responsibility to recognize the core strengths and core weaknesses of our fellow team members and just have a conversation with them, just see as to what are the things that they can best contribute in. If there are individuals whom you haven't talked up till now, but they're part of the team, they haven't been part of the meetings, just drop them a text, just try and catch up as to what they're doing, how can they contribute in the initiative, what are the challenges that they're facing. So this is how you can really create a team culture wherein each and every person supports the other person. And if you do that, I think the team culture, the working culture would really change. And uh, that's the kind of model we envision, and that's the reason why we follow this model for all projects, not only for this particular project, for all our projects, for all our internships, for everything. We have a very, very decentralized model. It is not me, or it is not 2, 3 other people in the board of trustees or governing council who are making all decisions. It is all bottom to top. The teams, the interns, the other groups, the other projects that are going, they're working. They tell us that this is something what we want to do, and our role is to just facilitate that. How we can help them achieve what they want to do. So that's the kind of role that we envision for ourselves as facilitators and moderators, and not as not as authoritarian leaders. That this is something that you have to do, and this is the deadline you have to follow, and you have to do this. Of course, there are indicative guidelines, there are indicative timelines that we have to follow, but then there is a considerable amount of flexibility that is there. Yeah, so that's the only thing that I want to say before we move on to the SDG teams. If you have any questions with regards to this, you can ask.
Yes, I have a question
because you all are leading teams, and you must be leading teams beyond this project as well. Yes, Sampurna.
Yes, so regarding reaching out to each and every person, I mean, it's not, honestly, it's not very feasible for me to reach out to person personally, because apart from this work, I have my academics work as well, since currently I'm in my 3rd year. So, like, if I keep on waiting for people's response, which is most of them, then ultimately this work will get delayed. And I'm not even in a position to ask them that please respond, or even to ask them like, chalo, this has to be done, because I'm not leading the team. I'm just, I'm coming up with certain things, and it's not very viable for me to reach out to each one of them personally, because I have to manage. You do understand, I have to manage between my coursework and this work as well. Exactly. So that's what I have questioned.
So there can be other individuals in the team. So if it's a team of say 10 people, there must be at least 2, 3 people who are active apart from yourself as well. So all of the individuals who are active can get together, and then you can divide. So for example, if it's a team of 10, 15 people, and if there are 3 or 4 people who are active, each of you can at least take the responsibility of reaching out to 2 to 3 individuals, if not 10 people. So I think even within the team as well, you can decentralize everything and divide the responsibility, so that the whole load does not come on 1 or 2 individuals, and you can have a good division amongst your own self as well.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other? Yes, Soumya.
I have a question too.
I cannot see you. I'm so sorry.
Akshita here.
Akshita, yes,
my
Akshita.
camera is here. So, sir, actually, in the beginning, when we were having our meeting, 2 people reached out to me and said that their SDG meeting is also clashing with it. And then one person said that, it will be difficult for them to manage both of them, and they quit. But I could, understand that there would also be other people who are facing similar concerns. So what to do about that?
So as I said, that we cannot point a gun at someone's face and say that you have to do this or you do not have to do this. And ultimately, it all boils down to how that particular individual wishes to contribute in this particular project, and if they feel that they only have they have limited bandwidth and they can only contribute effectively to only one thing. I think so be it. We cannot force anyone to be part of multiple initiatives. If they feel that their contribution can be best justified only in one particular thing, and they are doing so, then I think that we'll have to respect that particular choice. But for other individuals, of course, there are multiple. So of course, for people who are taking more initiative, there'll be more more incentives as well. So it'll ultimately it'll all boil down to how an individual is taking responsibility, how they've justified whatever responsibility that they've taken. And if there are individuals who just working, say for example, for a certificate, now their incentive would only be narrowed down to a certificate, right? So that's the kind of ultimate. I mean, that's unfortunate. That can be, we can see it as unfortunate, but that's the sad reality. And when we especially work, when we work with very big teams, it's only the top 15, 20, 30% who are very active. Then there's a very broad base of say 50% of people who are active inactive, and then there's a smaller base again of 20%, 25% who who are just here for a certificate, right? So there are all shades of people whenever you work in a team. So there'll always be people who are the leaders, the initiative takers, the people who are very enthusiastic. They form the top 20, 30%. Then there's a broad base of 50% of people who are sometimes active, sometimes inactive. They have other things as well and all. I would call them floating people, right? Just as we have uh, swing constituencies in USA now, because of the US elections, there are swing states, like people who can vote either for Republicans or Democrats, and the politicians usually target those swing states. And then you have the last set of like a small fraction of people of again 20-25% who are just here that they wish to be part of the initiative and they just want a certificate at the end, which is again, see, this is the kind of reality that we've accepted, having launched so many worked on so many projects and initiatives, coordinated so many internships, etc., etc. This is the sad reality, that this is the kind of reflective structure that we always have. Some people are very good initiative takers, leaders, the movers and the shakers, and then we have the broad base, and then you have the third fraction of people. And this is the same. This is the same reflection that you will have in your own particular teams and groups as well. तो मैं जो ये बोल रहा हूँ, ये कोई मैं बाहर कोई एब्स्ट्रैक्ट आइडिया नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, ये आप अपनी टीम्स में इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे, आपको ये सेम मिलेगा कि कुछ होंगे जो बहुत एक्टिव हैं, which we can tag as movers and shakers, then floaters, and then you have the third category, right? So this, as you grow up and as you manage teams in your professional setups as well in the future, I'm supposing that you are either a college student or you must have graduated recently. So when you move into professional life as well, when you take up a corporate job or when you take up a job in the development sector, you will find the same kind of problems and challenges. You might feel that I'm working 8 hours a day, and then there are other individuals who are working 8 hours a day, but I am giving an output of 10 hours, but their output is not even of 1 hour, but we're getting same salaries. राइट सो ये भी आप में ऐसी फीलिंग्स भी बाद में आएंगी सब में कि जो एटलीस्ट एंड आई डोंट नो वेदर देयर आर आई नो दैट देयर आर सम वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल्स बट नॉट अ लॉट ऑफ देम and the people who work in these sectors, and people who already have experience in working in professional setups, they'll understand what I'm saying. When you have a group of people, they'll, and especially when you're paid for it, तो आपको बहुत ज्यादा नेगेटिव इमोशंस आते हैं, क्योंकि आपको लगता है कि हम लोगों को सैलरी उतनी मिल रही है और काम हम बहुत ज्यादा कर रहे हैं, कुछ लोग काम कम कर रहे हैं, तो फिर क्या होता है कि इसी वजह से इनएफिशिएंसी आती है. द बेस्ट एग्जांपल ऑफ दिस इज अ ब्यूरोक्रेटिक स्ट्रक्चर. Since there is permanency of jobs, now why is our bureaucracy inefficient? Like, why do we keep on saying, and why do administrative reform commissions keep on coming and saying that we need to change our bureaucracy, etc., etc.? And why the government now is saying that we'll hire and fire bureaucrats, we'll bring bureaucrats to lateral entries? वो इसी का रीजन है, बिकॉज इनएफिशिएंसी आ गई है. ब्यूरोक्रेट्स को फिक्स सैलरी मिलती है, कोई काम कर रहा है बहुत अच्छे से और कोई काम नहीं कर रहा है, एंड देन जो बहुत ज्यादा काम कर रहे हैं उनको लगता है कि हमको भी उतना ही सैलरी मिल रही है जो दूसरे बंदे को मिल रही है, तो हम भी क्यों करें इतना. तो मतलब इट्स अ चेन रिएक्शन देन. सो a group of inefficient bureaucrats might lead to the whole administrative structure getting inefficient. Right? I hope that I'm able to explain what I'm saying. So that's as I said, as I started, मैंने जैसे आपको शुरू किया था, it's a sad reality that we have to accept, and we have to deal with it, and we have to move on with it. It's just about, it all falls down to us as individuals. Are we people who can take leadership? Are we people who can take initiative? Are we self-motivated and self-driven individuals. If we can do that, I can assure you one thing, that you'll always be a leader. You'll always be a leader irrespective of which professional setup you're in, irrespective of where you work, be it government sector, non-government sector, any or a private company. If you are someone who can take who can take leadership, who can take responsibility, you will definitely be a leader. You'll always stand out, and that particular thing would at some point of the time in your career would definitely pay you back. So I know that it's very demotivating at times, but just do your own thing. That's something which I would leave you with. Just do your own thing. Do not care about whether someone is working or not, whether someone is giving equal attention or not. It all boils down to how we are doing best. So I think it should all like we should be focused on what we are doing, and how best we can give what best we can give to whatever we are doing, and just forget about what others are doing. But of course, just make an effort to make sure that we include everyone. Right? अब आप मेरे सिचुएशन में आके देखिए कि हमारे पास 350 लोगों का टीम है. We have 350 people, and we have like top 20-30%. So that will be about 80 to 100 individuals who are working very good. And then we have floaters, and then we also have about 70 to 100 individuals who are not working, who are just here in the teams, but they're just there. Right? So as a person who's representing CYL, for example, and we've done so with so many projects, तो मेरे लिए तो ऐसा होगा कि ये लोग काम ही नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो उसके and when the project ends, they'll say that yes, now we need the certificate as well, right? So हम लोगों के लिए भी it's very difficult to manage. But then this is something that you're doing at the top level. But I think since we are talking about a decentralized leadership model, all of you can also learn these very important skills. And once you learn these skills, whenever you move into a professional space, you'll never feel out of place, because you would already know कि ऐसा होता है. ठीक है? So yes, Soumya, do you wish to say something? We unfortunately have very less time on our hand, because we need to have a way. We need to take feedback from the SDG teams as well. So Soumya, you can just keep it very short so that we can move on to the team.
No, I guess Vansh, you have already summarized what I was trying to say, and it's fine. Please go ahead with the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Soumya. So we'll quickly move to the SDG teams. I request the SDG representatives to keep it very, very short, so that, because I think a lot of issues, a lot of things have been covered by the state teams, and I'm hoping that all of you are also doing similar kind of things, that you've already departmentalized your SDGs, you've already you're already planning to organize series of dialogues and micro dialogues. So just tell us your progress. Just give us your tentative date if you've already decided, and we're good to go. So we'll start from, we'll move in a chronology. So SDG 1.
Yeah, hello, Vansh.
Hello.
Santosh. This is Santosh.
Hi, Santosh. How are you?
Fine, sir. And you, sir?
Very good, very good.
And it's good to see you coming back, actually. It's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is Santosh. I'm the representative of SDG 1, which is no poverty. We are a group of 23 participants, and we had 2 meetings. In our first meeting, our objective was is to know each other better for work progress and discussion on our future course of action, with our end goal to eradicate poverty. This is our end goal, and we have been working on that. And we initially thought of having an icebreaker, and we thought actually what can be done, and we started from the end goal. What is an end goal? Eradicate poverty. Then we started with the important points of structuring it, and we prepared in the research points of six points based on the target of the SDG, and we formed the content from the research questions, which are yet to be done, and we'll be progressing towards it. And importance of conducting research projects to reach them the goal, and our mechanism of producing content are based on podcast through YouTube channel. We are having events like policy challenge and many more, and we are focusing our social media blast by promoting our posts too through this. And we have a group of diverse people, and so we can work more towards it. And in our second meeting, what we done is we went into an initiator of what important topics can be focused to have a dialogue. And people came with suggestions, and we are yet to finalize it. And our tentative date to have a dialogue is the end of September, last week of September.
Okay.
And
Thank you so much.
I have a thing actually, sir. From Niti Aayog, the report came from on the SCG India Index, and as part of SCG one, I feel to say it actually here. There are 4 types of participants which are separated as states, and which are for front runner, performer, and achiever, and that's it. There are 4 aspirants, which are 4 types. And SCG one achiever gets 100 points, and the front runner gets an index of 65 to 99, and the performer gets around 50 to 64, and the aspirant gets a score of 0 to 49.
Yeah.
India has an actually best practices in India too, and we have 6 states for front runners, and as performer we have around 9 states and around 5 UTs, and in aspirant we have many more states, actually 14 states, and which is disheartening, and we'll work on it, and we have tried to get the best practices from across the world, and if we are seeing in a world stage, and presently China is dedicated to reduce their poverty to 0%, which is no poverty line. And if they did it, they will be the first country to achieve it. And they have been working for around 3 years around. And we are seeing that project actually, and we are seeing ways to implement in India too. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Santosh, for sharing all of this. And with regards to no poverty, you can also give it, as you rightly pointed out, that the Niti Aayog has already brought about the report. But you can also point out, you can take up very interesting research questions in it as well. With regards to definition of poverty in India, like since we've had multiple committees who've come out with various definitions of poverty, that you can like focus on all these committee reports as well and formulate a hypothesis with regards to poverty in India. So you can take case studies of Tendulkar committee, for example, Rangarajan committee, all the committees which have been formed previously to formulate that definition of poverty, and then formulate a hypothesis around it, and you can create a very good research paper on this as well.
Yes, sir. Surely we'll do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. SDG 2. Is anyone here from SDG 2?
I guess the leads are not here. I'm Ushni. I'll just share whatever we have discussed so far.
Yeah.
So we've just had one meeting so far. It was held on the 9th, and we have, I think what we realized within ourselves is that hunger is something that's quite potent, and it really doesn't need any explanation. So I think that that really helps us in terms of explaining the concept of no hunger. And along the lines of which we decided that we wanted to conduct a pilot study to probably understand the kind of groups or the kind of states where hunger is again a very major problem. And so the deliberations on the aims and methodology of the pilot study is something that we plan to finalize by the coming week. And other than that, we have divided our team. We have 6 teams, but I think it's almost similar to what everyone else has suggested. I think the only matter of difference would be that we have an ideation team, and this is an open team, and we plan to prepare a calendar of events by the next week. And as for the team dialogue, we haven't really settled on a theme, but we're really keen on holding the dialogue on 28th September, since it's the Freedom from Hunger Day. So we want to commemorate it and probably do some really important dialogue on that day, maybe collaborate with Feeding India or Robin Hood Army. And also one more thing, we as for the activities that we are interested to organize, we're really looking forward to organize a historical crisis committee and maybe take up an event like the 1943 Bengal famine, and probably invite participants across colleges and schools, maybe, because we feel that that's something that might interest students as well, and would also get us a lot of participation. And yeah, that's it, and we'll get back.
Thank you, Ushni, and Ankit from Feeding India the founder, is a very dear colleague. So if you wish to reach out to him, I'm sure that he would be more than happy to
That's fabulous.
just come.
Right. We'll
So
connect
you can
with you.
just so just let me know and we can just have that conversation. SDG 3.
Yes. A very good afternoon to you, Vansha, and everyone else present in the meeting. I'm Saloni Sethi, and I'm here to represent SDG 3, which is health and well-being. We're a team of 29 members as of now, and we've had 2 meetings. So our first meeting, am I audible, sir?
Yeah. Please.
So our first meeting was held on the 2nd itself, when the group was formulated, and it was primarily an icebreaker session, keeping in mind that it was one of the first days. And beyond that, the kind of challenges that we, felt we had in terms of organization were things that were pretty much addressed by the resource person who came to give the sample dialogue that we had. So keeping in mind that most of our inferences from our first meeting were things that would be addressed there, we decided that we would wait until the dialogue, and till then we formulated 4 of our sub themes which have been focused in the following direction. One being publications and research, the other being PR and collaborations, the next being social media and digital content, and the last being the technical team. So we did that bifurcation till then, and we have like all the roles and responsibilities in each team. Once the dialogue was done, we also did have where we shared all sorts of ideas that we wanted to say, go ahead and like discuss in the second meeting. The second meeting was then held later this week, which was yesterday, and there we had a brainstorming session about all our sub themes, the sub themes that are that came. Yes, sir. So some of the sub-themes that came forward were ideas of mental health, about COVID with regard to COVID pregnancies, positive psychology with regard to mental health, marital rape, telemedicine, health, hygiene, nutrition, malnutrition, PCOS, then how healthcare has become a client service, has become part of the client service sector, and the violence that doctors are facing. Basically, a whole lot of things. Keeping that in mind, we decided that we have umbrella topics for all our talks and all our dialogues, because there's just so much that we can cover, and we want to have an outreach that is extremely inclusive in that sense. So with that in mind, we will be organizing our first dialogue in the form of webinar, and the theme that we've chosen is access to healthcare and use of universal health coverage. And because that's something that we wanted to start with, keeping in mind of high prominence right now, extremely relevant to the times that we're living in. The detail with regard to our short-term, long-term goals, I'll just say that since we're a small team, relatively small team, we're currently focusing on this, the entire team, and the research team is going to be working on the proposal that we'll be sending the speakers that we're trying to approach at this point, because we want as many people as possible, as you said, that you can scale this to whatever level you want. Yeah. So we want as many prominent people that we can bring on the panel as possible. So the proposal is going to be worked on. The MOUs for collaborations are going to be worked on, and that's something like some support from the CYL team also with regard to the technicalities of that. Beyond the PR and the collaborations teams, so they're working on that. Then the digital content and social marketing, social media team is going to be working on the campaigns, and we'll be having pages in place for the same, and the technical team is providing all the organizational support. That's pretty much it from our side. And beyond that, I just had one more question with regard to the certificate. And I guess that's something that you clarified already. So we'll definitely work on that with regard to you. Thank you so much. And also, thank you for having us and organizing this regardless of your personal commitments at this point of time. Just more power to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Saroni. Yes, Shravani, I think you had requested.
Thank you so much, Vansh. It's about SDG 13. Based on our last week, we have already divided the team into 4 groups. That's organizing digital media content, research, and reaching out partnerships. So from this week, our team is starting to, today we'll have the first meeting. And what we are deciding that we'll be dividing the entire climate change things into subgroups. And each week we'll focus on 2 or 3 subgroups, and then we'll post contents online based on only that theme. We'll be also focusing our dialogues that week around that theme of the climate change. We are also deciding to partnership with Climate Reality Leadership Corps, because some of us are part of that, and to use their network to conduct the awareness and dialogues around that. So that's till today, this is our plan.
Sounds very good.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're on
Okay.
SDG4 now. Hi. Can I continue?
Yes, you're audible
Yeah.
now. Yes.
Okay, so hi, I'm Shravani. I'm representing SDG4 along with Lokesh here today. And we just want to quickly update you because I know it's been really long. So I'll be touching upon the basics and Lokesh can go into the depth of it. So basically, we've had meetings with the whole team. We've divided ourselves into 7 themes. Basically, what we're going to do about quality education, since it's a very vast topic. And after that, we also divided ourselves into subgroups. One is the management team, which has 14 people because we are a team of 100 plus, and it doesn't make sense for one or two to handle it, like you said. So 14 people, which makes it roughly about 8 people per one leader per person for like 8 people. And then apart from that, we have planned as digital literacy as our first week. Like the coming week, we'll be going ahead and working on digital literacy. We want to have 2 webinars at least. We've researched on the content we want to have in the webinars, and we will be working on the organizations that we want to approach. And now I think Lokesh can take it up from here and just explain a bit further.
Yeah, so greetings to everyone. It's been really wonderful listening to all the amazing people over here till now. So I would like to just brief you about what themes that we have taken. So since we have to close it down by 24th October, if I'm right, we wish to have 7 themes, and we wish to dedicate 1 week for each theme. So our themes are like the digital education, which will be taking up next week. So from the next Monday onwards, we will be having a week which will be based on separate theme. So we have one of the themes as curriculum and examination reforms, where we'll be talking about all the education reforms. We wish to bring in many recognized teachers as well as academicians, and we have one on the digital education, where we wish to bring in the entrepreneurs or the people who are working into digital education as well as leading edtech portals and companies. We wish to have one theme that is NEP, an outlook to India's education, national education policy, where we would be needing CYL's help. We wish to host some of the bureaucrats from the HRD ministry who has been a part of making this policy, right? Since none of us in the team has contacts with them, so we need CYL's help. And the most interesting thing we have is the accomplishing other SDGs through education. So yeah, education has a role to play in each and every sphere of our life. So we wish to have like micro dialogues on how we can reduce the gender inequality through education. What steps we can take to make people more environmental sensitive, and other SDGs as well, right? We have themes on the capacity building program. We have themes on how to make increase the access to inclusive education. And last, we have wish to have a theme of promotion of entrepreneurship, a way to the Atmanirbhar Bharat. So that in these we have included 5 themes which are to the global relevance, and 2 themes which are to the relevance to the especially to the India only, right? And how do we wish to proceed with these dialogues? That we wish to have 2 to 3 dialogues each week on every theme. In case we get multiple speakers, as you said, we can conduct a bigger dialogue with a panel of speakers. And this is how we wish to proceed. And for the output part, so since United Nations is very fond of documentation, we are planning to have a 80 to 100 page of policy white paper for the education, where each theme will be having a space of 10 to 15 pages, where the whole reports of the dialogues we have conducted, and all these suggestions that we will get online from the research team, the research papers that the research team will write, and all the blogs and articles will be coming through various portals. We wish to incorporate that and get documented all the dialogues and all the research, in that document.
Okay, sounds very good. Thank you, Lokesh and Shravani, for summing all that up and
Do you have a
just telling
suggestion?
us. Suggestion? No, I don't think that there is any particular suggestion. One suggestion with regards to you, with regards to the themes that you've spoken, we can also have some roundtable discussions where we can invite various stakeholders. So probably you can have a roundtable discussion with students. You can have a roundtable discussion with teachers, professors. You can have a roundtable discussion with school owners. Probably you can have a roundtable discussion with administrators of education institutions and just take their opinions on how say, for example, if you're talking about NEP, so how would the NEP be implemented? Today itself, the Prime Minister has given a statement with regards to the NEP coming into force from 2022. So we can just initiate these dialogues as well. And I think if you have these roundtable discussions, they can, I mean, even these roundtable discussions themselves can transform into a UN75 dialogue. So you can, these are just a few suggestions, but these are not like, these are open to improvisation, so you can do that.
We already are planning to do things like that.
Wonderful.
And
wonderful.
yeah, and I just want to ask you for another favor.
Yeah.
Is that from the CYL is that since we have a lot of teams, including state and SDGs, there will be there is going to be a clash of dialogues. So and then since we are already having a one Zoom portal, so either like CYL research itself on a platform like GeoMeet or get another Zoom portal so that
GeoMeet is we've organized meetings on GeoMeet, and GeoMeet is just a clone of Zoom, I would say, and you can use it. It's an unlimited. There's no time ceiling. You can just use it just as a Zoom premium account allows 100 people. GeoMeets allow 100 people, and if you've used Zoom, I think you can easily use GeoMeets as well because the whole user interface is completely same, absolutely same. So for people who, and Google Meets as well, again, Shambhavi is recommended. Google Meets is also another option. And all of them allow 100 people, up to 100 people. Zoom also allows 100 people, unfortunately. And we're planning to also see whether Cisco WebEx is a good option. But that's under consideration. We'll see whether we can have that.
Are you also planning to get these dialogues live on the Facebook or YouTube?
We can do so as per the team's requirement. If they want that this dialogue should be open, because there might be few dialogues which teams would like to be closed door or exclusive. So we won't put them up live. But if the teams want that they want to broadcast that particular dialogue live on Facebook or YouTube, we can definitely do that.
All right, wonderful.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. That really helps. Sir, I just had one doubt, which I think is representing the whole team. So basically, in order to approach people, I spoke to the communication team as well. So we can use your handles as well as your email ID.
Absolutely.
So is it possible to provide a draft of the mail that you've already been sending to guests or organizations so that on the basis of that draft, we can just form our message as well? And then we can provide you with the email IDs that we wish to send those invitations to.
Not an issue at all. That can be done.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. Welcome. With regards to meetings as well, this is not in particular to Lokesh and Shravani, but just generally speaking. So just as some of you might have studied in economics, if you have economics in college or you just like economics and you've studied economics, you must have studied the law of diminishing marginal utility. So that also happens in meetings as well. So when you start meetings, there are 100 people, and then it goes down like this. So when you all conduct meetings as well, you might have been facing these same issues as well. And these are some insights that I've been giving apart from these interactions, because I know that you people are very, very passionate about whatever we are doing, and you've been managing teams really well. So, and these are the issues which might be coming to all of you. These are universal, so these might definitely be coming to all of you as well. So just know that this is very natural. Okay, and
don't
this
worry, we will keep
UN.
it short.
Yeah. Okay, next is SDG 5.
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Muskan, and
Hi,
I'll be representing SDG 5 along with Renuka. I'll keep it very short. We have sort of implemented the same kind of structure that all the other teams have implemented. So we have, since we are an extremely very large team, we have around 90 plus members. We have divided ourselves among 4 subgroups based on the various activities. We have marketing and PR, we have events, we have research, and we have digital content. So we have these 4 teams. And if all the teams have had their own meetings, we are planning to have 2 kinds of dialogues. One is discussions, where it's more interactive and everyone's giving the point of view. And one is sort of a panel discussion and NGOs coming and educating us, educational kind of dialogue. And in terms of the goals or the goals of the dialogues, at the end goal is what we have decided on is creating awareness, education, and also coming up with action items as it was listed in the toolkit by the UN. The overall theme of the dialogue, we've decided to go ahead with the goals set by UN for SDG 5 along, and as you mentioned, the dialogues are not pertinent to only the goals set by UN. We have also decided to include the LGBTQI community discussions because that is something that is not included in the UN SDG 5. And along with these 2 discussions and dialogues, a kind of dialogues we have also planned to have essay writing competitions, art competitions, and live sessions to include youth in school because they are also a very important part in shaping our future. And we do want to include them as well. Yeah, that's about it. We are planning to have our first dialogue by the end of this week or the starting of next week, but we've not decided on any date or time. And in terms of, we're planning to have, since it was mentioned that we need to have all our dialogues by the 24th of October, we planned out we have around 5 to 6 weeks. So we are thinking of having around 2 dialogues per week, which would come to around 10 to 12 dialogues. So we will have approximately 5 discussion sessions and 5 informative and educational sessions. But again, it depends on the availability and the collaborations that we can come up with.
Thank you so much, Muskan, for comprehensively covering everything. And all the best to you and your team.
Thank you. If you have any suggestions, you can let us know.
Not particularly, but I've been making notes of all that, all the teams have been saying. I'll just do a comprehensive study and research of all the things that are feasible, all the things that you've proposed, how we can better improve them. And if I have specific feedback for any of the teams, I'll reach out because I've mentioned each and every team's progress and like whatever they've done. Okay. Thank you, Muskan.
Thank you. Thank you.
SDG 6. And just a request to everyone again, just let's keep it short so that we are able to finish the meeting in about next 15 to 20 minutes. SDG 6. And is anyone here from SDG 6?
Hello, Vansh. I'm
Hello?
sorry, we still didn't have a meeting yet. So
Okay, no problem, no
sorry
problem.
about that.
No problem. I'm.
We'll update you soon.
Yeah, sure. I've marked an asterisk across SDG 6. All right.
Thank you.
Next, SDG 7.
Hi, Vansh, Shakti here again.
Hi, Shakti.
I actually the lead is Tanya. Somehow she couldn't make it, so I'm just filling in her gap. We had our meeting.
So much again.
We had our meeting last week, and it was decided that the clean energy sector is something where we need to have a very focused approach. So we have identified 5 key stakeholders. One key stakeholder is policy influencers like United Nations, ISA, and UNEP kind of organization. Then we have a government entity who are like policy makers, and then third entity what we have identified is a research institutions who are actually developing a cutting edge technology in the battery storage and microgrid kind of stuff. Then we have also identified another key stakeholder as an academician and the last key stakeholder as a consumer base. So we have identified those 5 groups, and we are channelizing our efforts to have a focused discussion, not a webinar, but a more like a focused discussion where we can come up actually with the solution. And again, the approach will be similar. We'll start with the exploratory kind of stuff, and then we'll continue to narrow it down, so that by the end of our exercise, we'll have a 5 or 6 recommendation for the United Nations as a feedback, which can help United Nations to influence the policymakers and the government, and can really amplify the whole adoption of clean energy sources at the ground level. We're in the process. We're also trying to identify for the government and for the United Nations and for everybody else, it is a little bit easy in a sense to just keep talking about the clean energy. But when we actually reach to the ground level, then we understand there are lots of feasibility issues, lots of practicalities, lots of financial issues. So the climate action narrative really doesn't go down to the to the consumer base in a way it should be, and then there are other financial aspects that they are started considering. So we're just trying to trying to see if we are able to reach to a solution where the climate action narrative can also be built in along with the financial benefits, so that a farmer doesn't need to see that I have to adopt solar pumps or microgrid in my community just to save the climate, but it is also helping me in some financial benefits, and also helping me in improving my agriculture productivity. So we're just trying to find a kind of a sweet spot between the practical concerns and the overall narrative of the climate action, and that was the idea. And then hopefully by the end of our discussion, we'll come up with 5 to 6 different key points which United Nations can take a note of.
Thank you so much, Shakti, for again keep just mentioning everything very, very comprehensively. And I'm sure that again, under your guidance and mentorship, the team would do very, very well.
Thank you, Vansh.
Thank you. SDG 8.
Hello. Hi,
Hello.
Vansh. This is Tarandeep. I would be presenting SDG 8.
Hi, Tarandeep. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. I felt very, very refreshing after hearing your voice. That's why I just asked, how are you?
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. So we had 2 meetings as of now, and we have divided the team further into 4 subgroups named moderation, research and editorial, PR team, and graphics and social media. So we have a pre-decided themes suggested by the members of the group, and we have listed them, and we'll be going theme wise. So we've decided to pick up one theme per week. So we'll be having all the activities surrounding that particular theme for 1 week. So it will be can be the speaker sessions or the whatever activities or the social media posts and the research sessions, all will be surrounding that particular theme for the one particular week. Apart from that, we have decided to conduct a first dialogue anywhere around 20th. And by that time, we have planned to have our own social media handles. We will be posting general things around SDG 8, general awareness related posts around SDG 8. And so as to create some kind of hype. This will be doing for 10 days, so that by then we will start contacting the speakers. And from around September 20th, we start having our dialogue sessions. And
okay,
then
I just have one suggestion for your team. So if you're creating your own social media handle, it'll be difficult for you to create that amount of reach initially. So it'll take some time. It usually takes some time to create that organic reach. Even if you're using Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, etc. So what I also suggest you instead, in addition, if you wish to make your handles, please do go ahead. Please do share that with the communication cell as well, whatever material that you're posting, and we'll get it posted on CYL handles as well, so that your reach increases.
Yes, definitely. We will do through both the handles.
Yeah.
So we thought of having one particular for ourselves, and then through CYL also to have further reach.
Great.
And then just like other groups, we'll be also having some activities which will be like the competitions, school-based and college-based competitions.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
SDG 9.
Good afternoon, Vansh. Nikita this side. The lead is somewhere busy today, so I'll be briefing you on her behalf.
Okay.
So we had 2 meetings. One was on 3rd September. That was just an introduction meeting. Everybody tried to interact with each other, and we tried to jot down some themes. And we discussed what everyone wants to do and their initiatives. Thereafter, we had the second meeting on 7th September, where we brainstorm and jot down to 4 main themes that we'll be targeting. One will be innovation and global competitiveness, where we'll do corporate social responsibilities, MSME, social enterprising. The second thing we are working on energy, fuel, automobile, and agricultural industry. The third one would be pharmaceuticals and healthcare. And the fourth one would be technology, education, and communication. So as other teams, we have also divided ourselves into subgroups: research, data research, digital content, and dialogues. We have not decided any fixed date as to the dialogues, but we plan to conduct 2 dialogues this month. One would be a big one small. And since the group is small, we consist of 30 people. One dialogue for this month we are targeting into the school professors and students. And we want to invite Teach for India, because I've been working for Teach for India last year. So we want to invite some fellows and interact with them. And at the same panel, we are inviting some corporate professionals, so that there can be a nice discussion as to education and industry and keeping the current scenarios. So that's what we are thinking on. Date is not decided as such, but we'll update you for the same.
Sounds very good. Thank you so much, Nikita, for giving a very comprehensive update.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Same to you. SDG 10. Is anyone here from SDG 10 team group?
I guess Sania is here.
Sania, are you here?
Yeah, second. I think I hadn't unmuted myself. Hello, sir. I'm
Hello.
Sania Deshpande, and I'm
Hi, sir.
representing SDG 10 today. First of all, sir, thank you so much for keeping this extremely interactive, because Zoom meetings are supposed to be where just one person keeps on talking and everyone else switches off their videos. But it's been extremely interactive, obviously.
Sania, may I recommend you one thing? You can switch off your video so that the data is not, because I think your data has, your video has been frozen.
So yeah, thank you so much for that. Am I audible?
You can switch off.
Yeah, sure. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible now.
Yeah. Our course of work was the following. On 6th September, we had our first meeting. It was more about ice breaking and understanding the resolution. On 9th September, we took our second meeting, in which we crystallized on themes, and we would like to go about conducting our dialogues. So we have decided that we'll be having one central campaign, which will be online as well as offline. It is themed around people around you. So we thought that instead of going around and talking about reducing inequality, how about we start by understanding how inequality is perceived in people with respect to people around us. So we'll be having conversations with people right from our house help or our guards to everyone, and collect data offline. And online, it will be more about having awareness in youth and everyone about inequality and how they perceive inequality. So that is our central theme, central campaign. Apart from that, we'll parallelly be running with different dialogues, which will be around sub themes like intersectionality, inequality, with respect to financial independence with women, urban rural divide, and inequality with respect to rights of disabled people. So those will be our parallel dialogues. The first dialogue is scheduled on 20th September, and today we'll be having a meeting to crystallize on our questionnaire for our central campaign of people around you. And apart from that, we aren't really dividing into different teams, because everyone wants to contribute in every way, and we want to learn about everything, right from how to handle social media, design, creative, outreach, and research. So it will be on a rotation basis. Everyone will have to be proactive and take up a role, so that will increase interaction and everyone can learn. So that is how we plan to go ahead with our dialogues.
Thank you so much, Sania, for pointing that out. And I think it's a very good model. And if other teams also wish to, especially teams which are not that big, if they wish to adopt this model, it's a very noble model to move ahead. And probably you can talk to Sania and her team members as to how they're managing their workflow.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Also, it would be great if you could give us suggestions because inequality is such a broad topic, and it was very difficult to narrow down that inequality, like how all do we approach it. But we have been able to go ahead with all of these themes, so it would be great
Yeah.
if apart from this meeting, you give us your input. Thank you so much.
I've taken down notes, and if there's anything that I wish to specifically recommend, I'll do that in due course.
Yes, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. SDG 11.
Good afternoon, Vansh.
Good
My name is
afternoon.
Manohar Samal. I am
Good
representing SDG 11 along with Anisha. So I'll concisely try to put up all the points which have been discussed. We've had 2 meetings up till now. Our group is divided into 3 focus groups, which is research, surveys and questions. Second being dialogues and partnerships, and third being the social media outreach. So these are the 3 general divisions which we've had. Now, we've also, in order to get ideas out of members, we've also circulated Google Sheets for, getting out sub-themes in sustainable urban development. So we've had a variety of topics, and since sustainable urban development also has a lot of issues, we've had a lot of general issues on housing, on infrastructure, on public transport, and even some core research concepts like right to the city and possibilities of accommodating that in India, and concepts like the amount of time which is taken by a country to enact domestic legislation after they ratify a treaty. So usually it takes a lot of time for them to have a domestic level execution of obligation. Yeah. So in order to start the process and have a very defined structure, we are going to have a survey which is based upon objective, descriptive, and qualitative questions. The initial survey will be sort of introductory in understanding the real ground problems of cities and how do people, see sustainability. Also, so our tentative date to release the survey is Tuesday, which 15th. And similarly for dialogues and partnerships. So our first dialogue is going to be an internal dialogue, which will help us in understanding what issues to address. So basically, understanding the scope and what people usually have some sort of misconceptions about sustainability. So it's also a motive to alleviate those misconceptions. So we will record almost all of our discussions and also create reports out of the survey results we receive and the dialogues which are conducted. Now, we also want to get panelists out from civil society organizations, universities, research think tanks, and in some places, even students. So we have sort of made a project-based model where, let's say, if one member gets let's say a member gets someone from a think tank to speak. So he becomes a mentor of that project, and he will be leading right from the beginning, from the planning stage to the execution process. So that the leadership is not centralized, or you do not. So we basically do not have specific focus group leaders because of this. So apart from maybe outreach and sending out invitations, we'll try to reduce as much, reduce the burden of CYL as much as we can and work more autonomously. So I do not have anything else to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Manohar. I think you summed it up very well.
Thank you.
Anisha, do you wish to add something?
No, so we had discussed the points together, and this is the model we are adopting. And we are going to have 2 phases of surveys. One would be generic, to basically know what cities are about. Like, all of us are from different cities, and each city has a different problem. So this way, we can also identify the stakeholders and the institutions we have to target. Like, if I'm particularly from a particular city, we'll know, okay, this is the problem. So we'll go to people or think tanks working on those lines and try to get them on board because they're more involved with the people. And we cover a large stakeholders. So that's the approach. And if you have any suggestions, you can let us know.
No suggestions as of now. I've made a few notes, and if there are any suggestions as we move ahead, I would definitely give them to you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Next, SDG 12.
Hello, Deepshika here.
Can
Yes,
everybody
yes.
hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
I hope everybody is doing fine. So I'll be representing SDG 12 today. Sorry that I couldn't keep my camera on.
That's completely okay.
So under SDG 12, we had a couple of meetings and we completely wanted to have a holistic approach. And that is why we haven't, like divided the group into more subdivisions. And basically we have two divisions, that is research and content and social media and outreach. Under research and content, we would be working on sustainable consumption and sustainable production. And in order to, like reach out to people, we would be writing articles, and apart from that we are contacting some companies to formulate case studies. And for dialogues, what we have planned as of now is we are planning to conduct one session particularly for kids. And apart from that, we are planning to organize panel discussion on consumerism, trying to involve youngsters in it and bring out their voice. And a panel discussion, we really think, like it won't be one way, and we would be able to get feedbacks of so many people and understand different people's perspective. That is this is pretty much our plan. We haven't fixed any dates as of now, but we would be having another meeting, like in a couple of days, and we can update you by then.
Okay. Thank you so much, Deepshika.
Yeah, thank you.
SDG 14.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I'm Jayati, and I,
Hi,
along
Jayati.
with Kaveri, we are representing SDG 14. So, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, Jayati.
Okay, cool. So, we had our first meeting on 6th of September, and the first quarter was more like an ice-breaking session, and then we gradually moved on to a plan of action. So first we thought that we'd structure a team. So it went like that. So we thought that we'd break down the group into different departments like research, content, and technicality and content creation and stuff. And the members are like free to either contribute in the group way, or they can even do their own projects. Like everyone is free to make their own poster or write their own articles. Everyone can contribute in whatever they way they want. This is from my side. Now I'm gonna ask Kaveri to continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon again.
Good afternoon, Kaveri.
Yeah, as far as the first meeting is concerned, so we decided to make groups taking into consideration the 5 broad categories, which included like research, content designing, partnerships, marketing, and content writing. And yeah, so the members can work together or solo, taking into consideration the size of the group, and for which the form has already been circulated, and we'll be accepting the responses in for like next 2 to 3 days, and then probably we'll be working on to the same. And then post that we'll be creating a probable list of NGOs, academicians, policymakers, corporates, etc., who can partner with us to organize dialogues and on this particular SDG. We'll also be conducting events like online quizzes, competitions, seminars, interviews, webinars, Q&A sessions, writing blogs, articles, and short videos. And that was pretty much about the meeting which took place. And as far as the deadlines for the dialogues are concerned, so we'll be creating a list of the organizations by tomorrow, like that is 13th of September. And then probably within the next week, we'll be receiving the responses for the same. And meanwhile, doing the marketing thing from our end. And post that, we are thinking to commence the dialogues from September last week. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kaveri, and sorry, I forgot the name.
Jayati.
Jayati, yes, Jayati. Thank you, Kaveri and Jayati, for that report. SDG 15, I think we just left with a couple of them now.
Hi, Vansh. So I'm representing SDG 15 live online.
Hi, Kamaldeep.
So basically, we have had 2 meetings till now. One was held on 6th of September, and the second was held yesterday only. So in the first meeting, we had firstly introductory session about SDG 15 and the target it has. And with majority consensus, it was decided that the team will not be divided into different departments, and each one of us can work on any of the mediums for this campaign. Then there are 9 targets within the SDG 15. Therefore, it was decided that each one of us can take one target and explore it completely, and then make questionnaire out of it. And then for choosing the targets, we surveyed a Google form, and each one of us gave preference 1, 2, and 3 for choosing our targets. And then according to the first come first serve basis, we gave one target to each one of us. And then in the second meeting, we had that Excel prepared where we had our own targets, and then we list down the NGOs, university we have connections with. For example, I have done my master's from CEPT University, and I have friends in SPA Delhi also. So also my the target which I had chosen was integrate ecosystem and biodiversity in governmental planning. So it was more relevant that I could talk to the faculty of both the institutes and to the student itself, and then reach out to them for further dialogues. So we have prepared, we have an action plan, which is to prepare a question set for dialogues and surveys by 14th, which is Monday. We will circulate the surveys 1 week before the dialogue, so that the people who are participating in the dialogues know what they are going to face in the meetings. Also, the digital content for social media blast and awareness will be prepared by 18th, which is Friday. This in this whole week, the coming week, we will be having our questionnaire and the digital content ready. And from 21st to 27th, we will be having one dialogue, which we have not decided the date yet, but we will be having in between this. And also, we will be inviting people in this week only, the next coming week. And each week, we will be targeting one target of the SDG 15. So till now, we have this as our goal. Also, actually, I worked with World Resource Institute. So I was thinking of inviting them for this dialogues, so that they have much more professional uh, uh, point of view on all these.
Absolutely.
So, yes. So I will be needing your help to just have a formal.
Absolutely, not a problem at all.
Yes.
Okay.
So till
Thank
now,
you, Kamaldeep. Thank you. SEG 16.
Hi, Vansh, Soumya.
Hi, Soumya.
Yeah, hi. I'll just start with my introduction. I am Soumya and I'm representing here SDG 16, which talks about peace, justice, and strong institutions. So, I'll just give a brief introduction how we started the things. So, we divided us into 12 themes, broad themes, which also are the targets which were set by United Nations for this goal to for that what they want to achieve. And for the work structure, we have divided us into 5 teams. That is research team, content, digital content team, PR team, dialogue team, and management team. And yeah, that is it for that. Now, the main thing which we are here to talk about our plan of action. So for the coming week, we have decided to plan a dialogue on 18th of September, which will be divided into 2 parts. First part will talk about the introductory of SDG 16, where we will give some introduction to people, and then there is an interactive session in that, so that people can share their views. We'll be preparing a questionnaire, and on the basis of that, people can share their views. And after, I guess, 2 days, we can share the report with the CYL. Side by side, in that week only, we are planning to have 2 competition, poster making and essay writing competitions. For that, we'll be needing support from CYL to provide us with the certificates. And the theme for the essay writing competition, I think about all these events, we'll be able to give you a formal proposal by tomorrow. And yeah, I think that is it. And right now, our digital team is also working for video journals, some creatives, which will work as a quick survey, which will be thrown in the social media through the social media handles. And I guess that was, oh, sorry, I forgot the best part. I have to share this one news with everybody. I know there are only 21 participants, but I think our research team is good to go with the first blog, and we'll be sharing our blog on 14th of September. That is the Monday of the next week. And yeah, I think we are very excited to work. And yeah, that is it. If you have any suggestions or doubts, please ask us. And I have one doubt I'll ask later. Please go on.
Thank you, Soumya, for that very putting it up very enthusiastically, and I'm sure that the team is doing well, and will continue to achieve whatever goals that you've set for yourself. So I don't think that there's any doubts or questions from my end, but if there's anyone else, they can do so. But you can share your question or doubt that you had.
Yes, sir. So our research team is facing this problem that that we have this another main research publication
Yeah.
group. So we have selected some of the preferences on which we want to work on, and
Yeah.
now we like because of the slots are like filled up, and people cannot work on the things which they supposed to work on. So can they have this kind of a thing that if they are already actively participating in SGG 16, so
Yeah.
can they still working on that, because it will
I
overburden
didn't get your question regarding that they cannot work on the slots are filled, which slots and which
I guess
things that you
there was
cannot work
this
on.
slots for research team, a research
Yeah.
publication team, that
Yeah.
we are supposed to work on such topics, the preferences which we given to them.
Yeah.
So what happened is the slots are already being filled because
Okay, so with
first of
regards to that, let me address this because we had a meeting with the research, the editorial board itself. And in that meeting, we decided that these particular preferences that people have given or the particular choices that have given, they are not, I mean, they're not straight. So you can always work on other things as well. These are just for the sake of convenience because the team is very big. So they have like grouped teams in particular SDGs. And since the editorial board members are also, so since they'll be the ones who will be coordinating, and they just number 4 to 5 as of now, the ones who are involved in the UN75 initiative, and there are other people who are involved in the larger editorial board. So for this particular, we have 4 to 5 dedicated editorial board members who are coordinating everything. So for the sake of convenience to manage 200 plus people, they had given these preferences. And now, since everyone has been divided in those small groups, they can definitely work on those particular SDGs. But beyond that, if they wish to take up research papers, articles, and blogs on issues beyond that, they are more than welcome to do that. There's nothing that is very, very, I mean, there's nothing that you only have, there's no bar on working on other things.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Right. Thank you. I hope that this answers your question or doubt.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Because this concern might have been that you've been put in some certain groups, but now you cannot work on the other. That's not the case. You can work on anything. Okay. The last is SDG 17.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Vansh.
Your name is Vansh. Hi, Vansh.
I'm representing SDG 17 today. I
Vansh, I'm
hope
so
I'm
sorry.
audible.
No, there's some
Hello?
problem with
Am I
regards to the
audible?
audio. Hello? There's some
Okay.
problem with regards to the
So,
audio.
yeah, just
Hello?
a sec. Just a sec. Just a sec. Just a sec. Hello?
Yeah, you're audible now.
Okay. So, so once, first of all, good afternoon. And
Good afternoon.
we have had only one meeting till now.
Okay.
So the things that were discussed in the first meeting were that first of all we have segregated ourselves into different groups, and we are working upon as far as the association with the stakeholders and partnerships with other state teams are concerned. I have
Yeah.
come up and drawn up on a pitch and collaborated with the Delhi state team so that we can collectively collaborate and work upon the partnerships for the working upon the initiative from the Delhi team also. And plus, one thing facing a challenge here was the participation of every team member. And out of a total 3 6 small proportion of people that are coming up and taking active participation in the group.
Yeah.
So one constraint was this. Plus, I want CYL communications team to very
Once we are not able to hear you. Sorry. I think there's some audio issue.
I'm sorry, sir. I got
Once,
disconnected.
if you can hear us, can you hear us?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay. Yes, go ahead. You were saying something. You wanted the communication team to do something.
Yes, I wanted the communications team to, if we can hold on a session so that uh, we can formalize and work more on the goals that our SDG is primarily focusing upon, and we can communicate to the group members, and also if we can indulge with the team and also request them to show more participation. So actually, SDG 17 is in itself a very broader perspective with respect to the partnerships and everything with the
Yeah.
organizations, and as per collaborating with the stakeholders is concerned. So
Yeah.
I want communications team to indulge here, and if we can partner with the other organizations also, and if we can have a
So
more broader.
what do you want them to do exactly? I didn't get that. You want them to do what exactly?
So basically holding on a session so that more team members are joined and they are more clearly focused on what things we are going
Okay.
to focus upon in this SDG.
Okay. Okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay. So any other updates with apart from them? I think we've lost Vanch again.
Sir, I'm really very sorry.
No,
My
no problem. Don't
connection is
worry.
unstable.
Don't worry. You don't have to be sorry, and none of you have to be sorry because we
Yeah, can you
understand.
just have a repeat on the last line because it
No worries.
my connection just went. I'm really
if
sorry
you
for that.
have my number, you can. If you can hear me, you can just reach out to me personally, and we can have a conversation regarding this.
Okay, sir, not a problem.
Okay.
I will connect with you then.
Okay. Thank you, Vanch.
Right, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And with this, I think we've comprehensively covered all the teams. It has taken about close to 3 hours. And I congratulate at least the 20 people here and about 8 to 9 people who are still watching on YouTube for joining this session. I think it has been a very comprehensive session because we've got to know, we've touched base with all the teams. Just got to know as to what all teams are doing, what are their ideas, and as people who are representing teams, as people who are coordinating with our own teams, we get to learn more about how we can implement a few best practices from other teams. And I think that all the two teams are purely on track and they're doing some good work. And there'll always be scope of improvement, but that's what really pushes us forward. So we should always have that. There shouldn't be a stage in our lives where we should feel that we are perfect, because then our growth will really stop. So as teams as well as individuals as well, keep on moving forward, keep on improving, keep on improvising, so that we can keep on setting the bar higher and higher. So I think that's about it from my end. If there are any questions,
Yeah,
you can please
Vansh.
ask. Yes.
Yeah, hi. Vansh, just very quickly, two questions. One
Yes.
question is for the individual members in the team. So,
Yeah.
say for example, if someone is a part of a team and
Yeah.
he wants to pursue something independently, and
Yeah.
he just wants the support of the group, maybe for some logistical support or for some research support, I
Yeah.
guess that should be okay to do
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
And perfect. And second thing, Vansh, so say for example, if you're part of a state group, obviously there are certain areas that we will be focusing as a state member. Let's say responsible consumption, also keeping, let's say, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, or any other state in focus. But same thing is also a part of, or is also overlapping with the SDG, 13 or 14 or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how to address this overlap?
So you can partner together and do something to address that particular issue of overlapping. What you can do, novel way of going ahead would be to just have a conversation with those particular team members who are working on that SDG, and the state group can particularly get together, just as some other teams are also saying that they're getting together with a
Okay.
particular state team group. I think Punch itself, in the last
Okay.
Vanch mentioned,
Batra. Yeah.
ESD, yeah, Vanch
Yeah.
Batra mentioned that SDG 17 is collaborating with the Delhi state team. So I think we can definitely do that. There can
Sure.
be intra team partnerships as well.
Yeah.
Because
All right.
ultimately,
Yeah.
all of us are working for one vision, one goal. So it's always better to support each other.
All right. Thanks a lot,
Okay,
Vansh.
thank you. Is there anyone
Vansh?
else who wishes to?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm sorry for interrupting.
No problem. No problem.
Speaking of posting handles, we
Yeah.
are from Tamil Nadu team, so can we like have a separate handle for Tamil Nadu and then as well as post it to CYL also? Is it possible?
Up to you. If you wish to have a separate handle, you can do so. But
Okay.
my suggestion would be to utilize the already existing reach of the CYL handles, because it's already it's a considerable reach. So building
Okay.
things from scratch will take a lot of time and will
Okay.
take a lot of demand a lot of efforts from you. And since it won't give you tangible results in the short time, there is a possibility that team members feel demotivated. For example, you work very hard on creating a creative, you work very hard on creating a video based content or something, and then you post it on a brand new social media handle, then you might not get the required reactions or required views, etc., and the team might feel demotivated, right? So a better way to go ahead is that you utilize on the already existing reach of the CYL handles, and in addition to this, if you wish to create your Spectre state handles or SDG handles as well, you can do so, that you can do that as well. But my suggestion would be to harness the already existing reach. And I think that we made it very clear that these are as much CYL's handles as much as they are your handles. So you can utilize them the way you want.
Thank you again, Vansh.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome.
Yeah,
Okay.
hello.
Yes, Tanvi.
Yeah, one thing, Vansh. Yeah, so we like someone talked about the mail draft which sent to the speakers for inviting them. It would be great if we can share that draft with everyone, with all the
Okay,
teams, so that we
just
can all
mention
in
it to
one
the
on the similar
communication.
lines.
Just mention it to the communication team, and they'll do that. Hello, Tanvi, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, I've said that. Just mention it. Just text the communication team, and they'll do that. I think there's some issue with regards to the audio. Karandeep, can you hear me? It's okay. I think we'll get it posted itself. That if anyone wants to have that up, they can do so via the communication team. Okay. Is there anyone else? Okay. Thank you. Then I think that's about it from this. That's about it from this meeting. I think we have had a very comprehensive meeting. We've touched upon a lot of points, a lot of we focused on a lot of progress that has been made. Again on 15th of September, we are organizing that dialogue on the International Day of Democracy, as I shared earlier as well. If any one of you wishes to be a part of it, you can reach out to the communication team. Plus, the links will also be shared. But if you also wish to be a speaker, you can reach out to either me or to the communications team, and we'll just share the concept note, etc. So that's about it. Thank you so much once again for joining in, and let's stay in touch. And if there's anything that you want, where you want my personal intervention, you can always reach out to me, or else you always have the communications team at your disposal. So thank you so much, and let's meet soon again. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vansh.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vansh.
Thank you.